And what is up? Welcome back. It is Friday night. You're here with the Average Boys podcast. It's your boy Crispy, and I'm here with my co-host Brian D from New Jersey.
Yo. What's going on? I love the energy. I love the energy.
Yeah.
I love it.
Thank you for everybody that's jumping in with us. It's good to see you guys in the comment section. I hope everybody had a good week. Hope everybody's ready to go. What's up, Georgie? I see you, bro. I see you, Georgie, and I see you,
Rob.
Comment section. What is up, my guys? Rob, you got to tell us in the comment section what you thought. You went to go see the crazy Fast X movie, but you didn't get your fucking $50 fucking your red pill because of the background.
Hell yeah.
Sure. I thought you were all like keying out for the moment, dude.
All the way.
But he went to go see fucking Fast X and he didn't get his fucking popcorn box, man. The popcorn box,
which is odd because Rob is always for like the collectibles at the
dude. Yeah. He's always got his stuff, man, and he was telling me about it. But I didn't know how much those things cost.
Yeah, dude.
They are
$54. Yeah.
$54.
Look, they got me one time when I went to go see the Batman movie.
The helmet, right? Or the head or something?
Yeah, I got
that's cool. But the thing is like Rob showed me the one for Fast and the Furious, and it's like the car, and that's bad. Like that's bad. That's really, really cool. But like $54, like, damn it, dude. Like they offer free popcorn with that shit, right? They have to.
No, I think
they
it's separate,
fucking
dude.
have to.
I think it's separate.
I bought the 5. Okay, I would have done the dice, dude. The dice for Dungeons and Dragons.
Yeah.
The big D20. That's pretty rad. No, but how was your week so far, Brian? What you been doing?
Dude, it's been a week from hell. I'm tired as hell, but you know what? I'm here. I'm here with you, and we don't have tricks today, unfortunately. But we're gonna duo it up, and we're good. But listen,
we're going for duos today, dude.
Like that it's the weekend.
Ranked, bro.
It's the weekend. Ranked. Yeah.
Yeah, we're doing some ranked podcasting today. Rod,
have you played any ranked yet or no?
Yeah. I was getting my fucking ass pushed in yesterday by all these fucking people that are so good at the game. But it's so cool, dude. I'm really digging the Star Wars. Like all the Star Wars aesthetic, I can't get enough of. I've always told people I'm a huge freaking fan of Fortnite's art style, like the way they draw their characters and they put it all down. Like everyone looks so cool, and they released Darth Maul, and all my friends have Darth Maul and the Stormtroopers. And
so I folded, bro. Like I said, I wasn't gonna buy any more skins, and I wasn't gonna put any more money into Fortnite, but I folded. Yes, I have Darth Maul. I also have. I bought Anakin, and I bought Goku Black, who's in the store.
Oh, dude, the Goku Black one looks fresh, man.
Yeah, I got the Goku Black. So yeah, dude, I folded. I'm weak.
Yeah, it looks really good, man. I mean, everything looks sharp as shit, dude. And then the Attack on Titan update was really, really cool. But you know what I was thinking? There's a part of the city that has like or a part of the map that has like it's called Mega City, and it's all like cyberpunked out, and they have like almost like big holographic characters. I really wanted them to put a Titan in the middle of it, like just like a holographic Titan from the anime.
They have a part of the map that's dedicated just to Attack on Titan.
Yeah, it's like a little village or something,
it's like
right?
A village, yeah.
Yeah. And it's got like a cardboard cutout of a Titan sideways and shit. Like, I mean, I saw that part, but what I was thinking is like, you don't get something like the way COD did with King Kong versus Godzilla.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like that would have been cool to have like a Titan, like walking around the map. You can kind of interact, use him as like something to rope around or something.
Off of,
him slap or something, like do something cool, like, and not eat people. I don't want him to eat kids. I don't want to give them nightmares and shit, but like, just doing something cool. I thought that would have been pretty badass. But Fortnite always has a tendency of really doing some really cool stuff when it comes to like releases for films or games or whatnot. And I saw in a post that Rob actually put up that they have some references to Miles Morales. Where's Miles at? So I'm guessing we're probably going to end up getting a pretty big Spider-Verse 2 skin release and stuff like that. So I'm pretty excited about that, man. See the world kind of start breaking apart and all that stuff. Be pretty interesting, man. Speaking about gaming, are you pretty caught up with the whole like Zelda Tears of the Sun? Tears of the Kingdom, I'm sorry.
We kind of like touched on this a little bit.
Last week.
Zelda is a game that I haven't played in years. So, but I have seen people, like, I'm on YouTube all the time. I'm on Facebook, and I'm just an avid gamer follower, whatever. It looks dope. Like, I'm not gonna lie, like it looks dope. And coming off of like the hype of Mario and the movie and all that stuff, like this game is like a top seller right now.
Yeah. I was gonna say like it's gonna be $1 billion game, easily $1 billion game. The last game that they released, what was it that they just released that based $1 billion, dude? I can't even remember off the top of my head, but just easily Zelda's gonna be one of the top sellers. And not only that, I know that after the release of the video game and how a lot of people got that really cool, like, you know, oh, here's a release and early pre-registrations and all that stuff, has really given it that traction for the director to be like, hey, we want to make this a movie now. Like, we're really, really anticipating the idea of it. And the cool thing about it is Zelda's story, I'm kind of familiar with it. It deals with all of this time gapping. Where like one of them is like in a time loop, and then the other one is like in the future, another one in the past, another one that deals with many links in one area that have to deal with it, and they're all from different time links. And yeah, like what's really exciting is that they could really bounce off the idea and bring it all together with like a film. I think that would be a really great way to like end the entire series. You know, you have all these Zelda stories and all these fighting Ganon and all this stuff. And, you know, people want to see a definitive end to the story eventually. But I think, what's up, Parsival? Oh, Parsival, man. First to the egg, dude. Ready Player One, man.
Cheers.
Yeah. Great name, dude. Great name. I think it would be a great way to kind of like to put a period on that series, to make a live action and bring it all together. You know, make it like the full thing. So that way it brings people back to the video games to play to get the rest of the storyline. And then, of course, you'll get your YouTubers and your reviewers and stuff that make like lure in a minute or lure in 30 seconds or whatever and get you all caught up. But if there was a video game franchise for you, Brian, that they could make a live action or a movie of, what would it be? I'm getting mine casually with Five Nights at Freddy's.
And I kind of got mine with The Last of Us.
Oh, very nice. Oh, yeah.
But if I were to pick one that wasn't Last of Us, it's a really good question. I don't know what you said. Yours would be Five Nights at Freddy, right? Because that would be
because I'm really into like if it wasn't that one, it would be the Treyarch Black Ops 2 zombie storyline.
I was going to say like I play a lot of first person shooters, so it's like like I guess like Gears of War would probably be one of them.
Yeah, Gears of War.
Like Rob said in the comments, I guess Gears of War will definitely be one of them. Yeah, I mean maybe Cyberpunk.
You know what? Like, did you get the opportunity to see the anime of it?
I casually watched like 1 or 2 episodes. I didn't.
It was okay.
Yeah,
it was okay. The animation was pretty good. I know a lot of people are really, really like cropping at it like super crazy. Yeah. For me, it wasn't that like it wasn't that type of anime that was going to get me to sit down and make me binge it. You know what I mean? It didn't grab me like attention wise. But to have the opportunity to see after like Ghost in the Shell, the live action movie, like to get a badass cyberpunk film, like I think that would be like top notch, dude.
Yeah.
You know, you get like even with the aspect of how they did Blade Runner, like the new one, and then you of course, like I said, Ghost in the Shell, and the technology in cinema right now on how they're able to do a bunch of like the cybernetics and stuff like that without needing to literally have like a puppeteering or something. It's so fucking cool how they can get away with so much stuff.
Yeah,
it'd be really cool, man. It'd be really, really cool.
Yeah, like I said, I'm already getting mine with I already got mine with The Last of Us. I don't know if you remember, but when we were ever talking about that show, like I was geeking out. Like that was
like, that was you. Like you were eating that shit up all day,
dude. Like that was it for me. Like that question was already answered for me.
Yeah. Mine. I think I've said this before a long time ago that one of my favorite storylines when it came to video games was always Treyarch Zombies.
Okay.
which was the Black Ops 1, Black Ops 2 storyline.
Mhm.
It had Richtofen, it had Tank Dempsey, it had the Japanese guy and the Russian guy, Nikolai and Takio.
Okay.
And the story, it was just okay, so I'm always a really big fan, but I hate time travel and multiverse, right? And the reason
Okay.
why is because it always takes the stakes away.
Mhm.
But for some reason, when you remove people away from like cinema and comic books, sometimes these dudes really get it right. And I feel like the Treyarch zombie storyline got it really well, really well, to where like I remember following all the when they would release the zombie maps and people would like hunt for the Easter egg.
Mhm.
Like I just remember when they would finish it and then everybody kind of like tic-tacking the red lines between all the different maps and them getting to a certain spot, which was Origins, which was from Black Ops 2, which was the map that had the big robots, right?
Yeah.
I don't remember. That kind of like revolutionized that map. It revolutionized that video game play. When it got there, that's when it started to get to the idea that it was bigger than just a video game. It was bigger than just 4 dudes killing zombies, because none of the guys in the story were talking as they were in the previous game. They were mentioning parts of their story that didn't correlate with the other storylines, but it correlated with like a multiverse. And that's when people started putting it all
Do you
together.
think we're all like zombied out right now in the culture? Do you think like it's been like done enough?
Like, are you talking about like just the genre of zombies?
Just the genre. Do you think a movie about zombies could sell in today's climate?
Yeah, I think it can. I don't see
Okay.
why it couldn't. I think it's just you know what, that really correlates to what happened like 2 weeks ago, man, with Guardians of the Galaxy.
Mhm.
There were so many people that were talking about like, you know what, like we're so tired of superhero movies. We're so tired of, and I think I've talked about this a long time ago when The Boys was out, and I was saying that everybody was clamoring to The Boys because of like the grotesqueness or the perversion of the superhero genre,
Mhm.
that it just makes it more entertaining and funny because it takes it out of the norm. But James Gunn literally showed us that if a director and someone who cares about the project puts their heart and soul and their hard work into it, it's still there, because deep down inside, when we watch, we just want something of quality.
Mhm.
With the zombie storylines, like, yes, the Walking Dead comic book was very good in the beginning, but then it started to lose traction because they just started adding in stuff, just clamoring at this idea. I don't know if you remember, there was a certain point, like a really cool event that happened when we were watching The Walking Dead, which was the very beginning. We were scared of zombies, but sooner or later, like in story, it changed to where we were more scared of the people than the zombies themselves. Like there was like a weird mix where you started realizing that the zombies were not the big problem. It's the people that were in it, because they go back to their animalistic nature of being like greedy and wanting power and doing all this stuff. And it changes the dynamic of the storytelling, and people need to just dig deeper into that art and into that creativity to get something that people really just want and just be passionate about, instead of just throwing the blueprint out there. Like just, here's a zombie story. Here's zombies. Here's a group of people fighting them off. Half of them will get bitten and 2 will survive, the guy and the girl, and then they'll kiss and make out at the end. You know what I mean? Like it's just all cookie cutter stuff. And I think if we got something, I always had this really cool story that I wanted to do a long time ago, which was a guy running away from zombies gets trapped inside a house that's haunted. Like straight up, like I think we talked about this a long time ago, right?
We definitely talked about
And it's like, can you imagine what this guy, like sooner or later, he's just gonna be like, well, get used to it, Ghost. Like I'm here. I'm not going out there. Fuck you, man. And it's just them two living together, trying to survive.
So it turns from like a zombie apocalypse to like a sitcom with
it's like a sitcom, like it's a ghost and the guy trying to survive. And then like maybe later on when it all comes to an end and the zombies break in, like the ghost is trying to help him survive.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? Like, and then it's like, okay, cool. Like I can watch this. I can feel it could be like a funny comedy routine or something, but I don't know. It's just taking the genre and making creativity with it. That's really, really all it is.
Yeah.
And that's what I feel like a lot's going on with a lot of these games, dude. A lot of these games, like, they're breaking the bank, bro. They're breaking the bank. $1 billion video games just popping off out of nowhere. We were just talking about this earlier, and you were like, did you see the trailer for Mortal Kombat?
Yeah.
And I was like, yes, I did. And I was blown the fuck away by it.
So let me ask you a question. Are you familiar with like the lore of Mortal Kombat as of
Yeah,
right
yeah.
now.
Yeah, well, I mean, right now, maybe not in Mortal Kombat 11 or 10, but like
I
throughout the
honestly,
series.
I'm gonna call bullshit because you know why? I actually, when I watched the trailer, right, which was a phenomenal trailer,
Yeah, yeah, it was.
but I was so lost. I didn't know that Liu Kang was a god.
A
I didn't
god.
know that. I didn't know
So
that. So
that happened, I want to say like Mortal Kombat 5 or 6.
no, and I'm gonna tell you. I'm gonna tell you when it happened
Did you go back?
because
Okay, so
so
you were
yeah,
digging, you were digging. You're
yeah.
like, oh fuck,
So
I need to
like
know.
yeah, I'm like, wait a minute, Liu Kang is a god, and
Mhm.
so what I did, I went on YouTube, and there was this channel that went through the entire timeline
The timeline. It's nuts, dude.
of Mortal Kombat, and it no nuts isn't even the word. Like it's insane, dude. Like there's time travel. There's old versions of the character meeting the new
Yep, there's
versions of the
new versions of the
character.
character.
There's people that are dying that are coming back, like
Liu
Shang
Kang.
Tsung.
As a matter of fact, Liu
Yeah,
Kang, yeah.
Liu Kang died, came back. Shang Tsung ends up being like a good guy for a little while, but then ends up being like a bad guy.
A
It's
bad
just
guy.
it's totally freaking nuts. And Liu Kang, I think, turned into a god like either 10 or 11, one of the newer ones where he became a god, and he basically like allowed Shang Tsung to fake like he was a good guy and then followed him the entire time just so that he can create the timeline however he wanted, and now this is like the continuation of that. It's insane. Like I didn't realize they were like that in depth.
You were that far into the story.
I just like to fight and kill people and do fatalities and shit like that. But like,
and you know what?
That's weird.
That's very similar to like the way I was talking about the Treyarch Zombies game. Like out of nowhere, it just turned into like this whole like what the fuck? And then when you break it down, you're kind of like, oh shit, that's actually pretty cool though. Like that's a cool twist on the game and all this stuff. Like Liu Kang being like a human god who was created that way because he has the humanity to be able to allow actual peace in the world or whatever.
Yeah.
And then it's like, but Shao Kahn's like, well, fuck that. I don't like that kind of peace. Like
Shao Kahn dies, kind of comes back. Raiden loses his mind every other game and shit like that. It was weird. It was insane.
Are you excited for the new Mortal Kombat 1?
Not really. With all that being said,
like, I just want to.
With all that being said, no, it's so convoluted. It's just so out of whack. I'm not even gonna. I don't.
Those kind of games are like the Fast and the Furious franchise of video games. Like they just keep going on and on and on. And like, just the brutal nature of it is you just want to fight. Like in those games, you just want to get your control, find your character that's got a cool costume that does your projectile that you want. And you don't really care for like the grabbing guys unless you're like really like a psycho person.
Into it,
then you're using Zangief, you know what I mean? No projectiles, just grabs. That's a serial killer. Like everybody else throws some shit. And after you choose that guy, then you just play and you're just like, wow, that was cool. And then one of them says some shit at the end that's like, wow, I banged your mom. And you're like, oh shit, he knows his mom or something. Like that's as far as it goes. When they play the storyline, no one really plays the fucking storyline as much anymore. That's just what it is. It's always really weird. It's like the fucking Van Damme Street Fighter movie. Like it just doesn't make any sense. But that's the same thing with Street Fighter 6. They were talking about releasing Street Fighter 6, and that one Tekken, any fighting game you think of, they're all weird as fuck. I'm a big Tekken fan. I love Tekken. And when you're playing the story mode, there's an actual scene where one of the characters, Hayashi Mishima, which is like one of like the oldest legacy characters in the story, a bunch of his soldiers are attacking him and he's going up an elevator, and some of them pull out literal fucking bazookas, and he like just kicks it out of the way with just like a fucking like a karate kick, and the missile just flies out of the way. It doesn't blow up. It's just like, oh fuck, I got dodged or whatever. And it just keeps going on and on. And I'm just like, dude, that makes no sense, but I'm about this shit. I'm fucking just so about this shit. Guards are just getting their asses kicked by characters, but the guards had guns like 20 minutes before, but then all of a sudden they don't have guns and they got to fight. Like, it's weird. Just weird. It's weird as shit. Well, it's going to be another crazy week, dude, because it was kind of slow again, but there are some stuff that I do want to cover. And you know what? Now that you're here and Trigger's not here, I got some things that I want to bring up. Okay. First, I don't know if you heard this or anybody else out there. Everybody knows I do my karate stuff, my MMA stuff, my things. And I was kind of taken this past week because last week there was a fight from Misfits Boxing, which is a lot of like the YouTubers, Jake Paul, Logan Paul, all those guys. They fight out of that one, and they had a fight, and it was KSI, who of course is a big number. He's a big name when it comes into it. Probably one of the best talked about upcoming YouTube boxers that's out there. He had a fight with another fighter, and in the end of the fight, he threw a close-up hook that ended up connecting with his elbow. Did you see this?
I saw it. Yes.
Yeah, it was a pretty wild hit. And when I saw it first, I was kind of like, well, they should have just, the ref should, even if the ref didn't see it, the officials probably saw it. And what they should have done is they should have said, okay, we're going to review the tape. And then from there, just do a no contest. They should have just done a no contest, give the guy his opportunity, call it a draw, and
so,
let both
wait a minute.
fighters.
So they called the fight, right? And they disqualified KSI.
No, they called the fight and gave him the win.
Okay.
So he won the fight. And there was like a big celebration. Dezen or whatever that company's called put out a big like the big promo of him. KSI wins. But when they showed the replay, even though the ref didn't see it, you saw that when he threw the punch, it went high and it connected elbow. Boom, just dirty elbow. Now, knowing if it's an elbow or not, even if the official didn't see it, but the replay on the big screen is showing the entire crowd that it was an elbow, and the judges could see that, they should have said, hey, well, you know what? I know you didn't see that, but that's really hard to flake. We need to review this really quick and give us a decision. Like, that's what the officials should have done. I don't think it's the company's fault. I think it's the officials.
So what ultimately happened?
So he got the win. The video went viral where you could see that it was blatantly an elbow, not a punch.
And that's where I come in.
And that's where everything went crazy. So now what happened is today, I want to say like it said about 11 hours ago, 10 hours ago, that it was overturned. So he did not get the win. It's a no contest. And I think they should have done that originally, man.
Was this like a professional fight?
Yeah. It was a straight, this was one of their match setups. And the thing is there's officials too for it.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
KSI is a professional boxer.
In the concept of it, yeah. But it's just that since it's their own personal promotion, they get to pick and choose who they fight. It's still through a boxing commission.
Okay.
Yeah, it's still through a boxing league and a commission. They're just not going to be part of the WBN NBC. You know what I mean? They're not going to be part of the World Boxing League or anything like that. They're not going to be a part of anything in that situation because they're just hosting it on their own set. Because the thing is every promotion can make a promotion and a belt and a championship. Then it's just based on popularity from there. It's like the UFC when it comes to Fury or it comes to Pride or anything. It's just whoever makes it to the top ends up being the
I'm gonna be totally honest with you, bro. I don't give a fuck about KSI. Pardon my language. I saw KSI in a WWE pay-per-view.
Oh yeah, the match
like 3 months ago, bro. This guy's a joke. I didn't even know that. This guy's a fucking joke to me. I don't care about this fight, bro. Who cares?
Yeah, it's the same thing with all these guys. They're people who want to have some excitement in their life, so they've just created this weird venue for them to get it out of their system. And they kind of go around all the people that actually do the hardcore training and build up themselves to the amateurs and get into the pros and stuff like that. It is what it is. It's
elbows happen. Listen, it's a fight. Elbows happen all the time. Let's get to the real fight, bro. Let's get to the real fight that's coming up this week, bro. Man, fuck KSI, bro. Fuck that guy. What's the real fight that you're looking forward to this week, dude?
Devin Haney, Vasily Lomachenko. Bro.
Now we're talking, baby.
Now we're talking. Okay,
baby.
Well, okay, just off the radar, just off the paper. Who do you think takes this fight?
We talked about this.
Yes. But the thing is like, you know, going over just talking about it, we're going to really be able to break it down a little bit right now.
Yeah.
But just off paper, off the top of your head, being that you like boxing, you're a fan of both fighters. Mm-hmm. Off the top of your head, who do you desire inside to win?
So my heart wants Lomachenko to win. My head says Devin Haney may have
right?
Only because Lomachenko historically starts fights slow, and I don't think Devin Haney is gonna be susceptible to losing those slow rounds. I think he's gonna win those slow rounds. If Lomachenko comes out fast and can sustain, I think he wins this. I think he wins this fight. But this is gonna be a good fight.
It's gonna be a hell of a fucking fight. I'm kind of on the ropes like you, man. Like, I deep down inside, I'm like, you know what, Lomachenko, for what he's done for the sport of boxing in the last like 5 years, has just reinvigorated people to want to desire to watch because of the technicality of how he works.
Yeah.
But Haney's a big fucking dude and can work also.
Yeah.
Like, he's smart. In his last fight, he literally took the jabbing mentality out of Lomachenko's game and used it against his last opponent and fucking demolished him. Every time the guy stepped to settle to get ready to start fighting, he would pop a jab heavy, and the guy just wouldn't find comfort on the block. Like, he wouldn't be able to like continue. He wouldn't be able to set up for combos. He didn't feel comfortable like a sprinter. He couldn't get like his feel and then attack off the combo. This guy would just pump a jab in. Mm-hmm. And the moment that guy would start becoming more aggressive, Haney would do like a rush combination and shove his whole body weight on him.
Yeah.
And it would fucking freak him out because he's like, oh, fuck, I forgot this guy was super heavy
but that is effective to guys that are scared or that take for granted that aspect.
Oh, yeah.
Lomachenko is not going to have that issue at it, I think.
But the only thing is that shoving combination, I really think he uses too against guys that he knows that are smaller. And a lot of the times guys remember that. I mean, Haney's coming in way bigger than Lomachenko in this fight. Like, he's coming in a whole less weight class ahead of him. Yeah. So he's going to need to be able to push that weight. So Lomachenko, I think his mentality is use a lot of the pepper work, but it's like you said, he just likes to use the first 5 to 4 rounds to really feel the fighter out, you know, get his marbles in so he can start cutting and dancing and doing his movements and his bull passing and stuff like that. But Haney's not going to allow him to get that opportunity. He's going to keep pushing.
That's my only concern. The thing I love about Lomachenko is that once he figures you out, I don't care how bigger you are.
Yeah, he'll
walk you down. Yeah, he'll walk you down. Like
Yanades, man.
Yeah, he's
when he fought Yanades.
Yeah, and I honestly, even the Tio fight. When he fought Tio was a bigger guy than Lomachenko. Mm-hmm. And once Loma figured him out, he walked him down. Like, he was backing Tio.
He was backing him up. He was maintaining that pressure on him.
He was maintaining the pressure on him. So, like, I know he's not scared of Devin Haney. And honestly, I've been seeing it split 50-50. A lot of people say that Haney is going to win this fight. A lot of people say that Lomachenko is going to win this fight. I don't know. Like I said, my heart is rooting for Lomachenko just because it's just something about him, the scrappy fighter.
Yeah,
and because he's a good champion. And I honestly, even though he started that Tio fight slow, I still think he did enough to win that fight personally.
To win that fight. Good mentality.
And that left a really bad taste in my mouth. So I kind of want to see him get a really big victory against a top name opponent.
And how do you feel about, like, what do you think in the aspect of, like, his age maintaining? Because you have a guy like Haney who's a younger cat.
Yeah.
Lomachenko's kind of like, you know, to me, I was talking to some of my fighters about it this week, and to me, the only thing that I worry is that he kind of feels like what's his name? I can't think off the top of my head. The Last Emperor, the guy from MMA. What the fuck is his name? I can't think off the top of my head. But yeah, it's just like he kind of gives. I'm gonna put The Last Emperor real quick. I'm sorry, Last Emperor. He gives a lot of his like work routine when it comes to how he works out and what he does. Fedor Emelianenko.
Okay.
Fedor Emelianenko was this guy who like dominated the entire super heavyweight division and heavyweight division during Pride and everything. And then he got to about 27, 28 wins straight. And then he started releasing videos of how he trains, what he does, his camps, who he's training in with, what he's doing. And then all of a sudden started losing because people were learning more about him. You know, they were taking a bunch of his deals and mentalities and ideals and installing it to their workouts and seeing what he does and trying to maintain that. Do you feel that maybe Lomachenko is kind of like following that same pattern where he's getting kind of like, well, I can't find fighters in my weight class that want to fight me, so I'm going to move up or down and challenge. And they start to get this, like, I don't want to say ego or arrogance about it, but they're starting to kind of like lose time, but because they were maintaining like a certain type of movement when they were in action.
I think it's kind of, I know what you're saying. I think it's kind of a little bit more to that than that, because Lomachenko has been, you know, he's been in multiple weight classes for years.
For a while, yeah.
For a while. He's been going wherever he pleases. But I think the money is finally there. Like the money
That makes sense.
is finally there. So I don't care how old he is. And by the way, he's 35, right? He's
Yeah.
35. Devin Haney is 24, so he's like 11 years older than his opponent. But this is a big payday. This is
Yeah.
a big payday. And honestly, Lomachenko can, if even win or lose, right? Win or lose, he has like 2 or 3 fighters that he is either a weight class below or above that he can go for a big
That he could still go
payday.
for.
So like Devin Haney is one, Shakur Stevenson is another, and Tank, and he can end up fighting Tank at some point.
Do you think that would ever be an opportunity? I know that I've seen interviews with Tank where he just acts like he's like, who the fuck is that? I don't even know who that is.
Yeah,
Like they'll ask him, they'll be like, hey,
anybody-
they literally asked him, I think like 3 or 4 days ago, and they were like, who do you got with the Haney, Lomachenko? And he's like, I don't even know those fucking guys.
I think he said specifically to Haney because he has a history with Haney. I think
history with him, right?
I think they either fought or sparred, or they were like sparring partners at one point. So like that whole 3-tier weight division is kind of interesting because they're all, within
Pretty close to each other.
They're all within reach of each other.
Yeah.
And the only knock I will take from Lomachenko is his age. But I mean, he hasn't shown
Even with that, he's not slowing down.
Yeah, he hasn't shown me that that's an issue. So I don't know.
Yeah, because whatever he got, there's something about it, man. Watching his fights, it's like I was telling you the other day, like Wednesday, I was so enthralled by this that he was going to fight this guy, and I was like, okay, cool, let me go check it out. I went back and saw his Yanadis fight, which both Yanadis fought both these guys, lost to him, got a knockdown off of Haney like in the 6th or 7th round, and then of course got taken out later. Later on, he then fought Lomachenko. Lomachenko actually got dropped by him, taking a really hard 2 down the center, bigger guy. And then all of a sudden later on, Lomachenko gave him a good amount of pepper work, fucking got him right to the body, right for a liver shot, dropped him easily. There's something about the way that Lomachenko thinks. And I think that's his thing, is because he can multitask while fighting.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. It's really weird. And I don't know if that really makes sense, because he's able to, like, I don't know if you've ever seen him when he throws and catches a punch like at the same time. And he does it so technical. And it's so hard to teach fighters to be that clean.
Yeah.
But I tell fighters, like, the difference between a guy like Lomachenko and most of the guys that do regular boxing is he grew up doing Olympic style boxing, where the other guys just joined a gym and grew. And it's different because one of them is, it teaches you mentally that you're fighting to make yourself money. There's like an arrogance or pride in the honor of it. The other one is you're fighting for your country. So like you're almost going in because you're mentally telling yourself, well, I'm prepared to die because this is like, I'm representing an entire nation or whatnot.
Yeah.
And I don't know, there's just something about it that just makes Lomachenko such a formidable opponent when it comes to all this stuff, because of just how intelligent he is, how he can gauge the range and the slips and the rolls, and and getting your timing down and being able. I think Yanada said it, where he's like, it's so scary to see a guy like that, because one moment he's in front of you and a second later he's on your profile and he's not where he was a second ago. Some people are just bred for battle.
I think a little bit to me as to why my heart is with Lomachenko is because Haney gets so much love in the division, and Shakur Stevenson gets so much love in the division. No one really talks about Lomachenko. Like, no one really talks about him. And I'm an advocate. Like, I know how good that guy is, and I don't think he gets enough credit for how good he is. So
true that.
This is gonna be a really good fight. And thanks, wrong hole, Rick. I'm never just gonna call you Rick. I'm never just gonna call you Rick. I'm gonna say your entire name because I think it's justified. But yes, Tank has knocked down Haney in sparring, and that's the reason. And I know what you're talking about, Chris, when someone asked him about Haney specifically. I think it was Haney and Shakur, and he kind of act like he didn't know who Haney was, because they have some history. So. But yeah, no, it's exciting. It's very exciting. What's on the horizon for that division?
Well, I'm really excited for this fight coming up. I'm really excited to see him. What's really, really cool is I have a friend of mine that's actually fighting on the prelims card, Gilbert Obina. He'll be fighting on the card tomorrow. He's coming. He's cross trained with us.
Okay.
Got to share some knowledge. He'll be fighting tomorrow. He's got a pretty good fight coming up. And then we have Carlos Diego Ferreira from the area. He'll be fighting also on the UFC card this coming weekend. Also, are you going to be checking out the UFC fights?
Who's the top card?
Let me check. I think it was a female main event. UFC.
I haven't heard anything about it, so I didn't even know there was a UFC.
Mackenzie Dern's on it. Angela Hill's gonna fight her.
When's that Sterling fight, or was that just announced?
Which one?
There's a Sterling and Patty fight. There's a
Oh, I think that's coming up.
It's coming up, right?
Yeah, it's coming up.
Who do you have in that fight?
Well, it's Carlos fighting Michael Johnson. That'll be an interesting fight. Yeah, Carlos Diego Ferreira fighting Michael Johnson. Andre Faleo versus Joaquin Buckley.
Wait, it wasn't Patty. I'm bugging.
Huh? I'll bring it up. Let me bring it up for you guys, so you guys can check out the card. Let me see entire screen.
It was that's what I'm talking about. So it was just announced that Sterling and Sean O'Malley were gonna fight.
Oh, yeah. The Sean O'Malley fight. Yeah, that's gonna be coming up. That's the one they just announced yesterday.
Yeah.
Who
do you got in that fight?
Fuck, that's gonna be a hard fight, dude. No, Sean O'Malley's good, man.
No, he's not. Sean O'Malley is just Sean O'Malley just has the UFC machine behind him. I think Sterling beats him easily.
Yeah, overall, I think it's just gonna be a good fight, though, man. I think it'll be a fantastic fight. Oh shit, that's right. I heard about this today. Jim Brown passed away.
Yeah, R.I.P. Jim Brown.
Boxer, fucking great movie. I'm gonna get you, sucker, back in the day.
AKA also one of the best running backs to ever play the fucking game of football. Yeah. True. Also civil rights activists more than anything else.
No, not Patty the Batty. We're talking about Sean O'Malley.
Yeah, I got that wrong. That's my bad.
Yeah. Hell no. Hell no. My girl Mackenzie. Of course that's your girl, Rob. Mackenzie Dern, the Texan gone Brazilian that doesn't talk with an accent, that talks with an accent. So you guys, do you really believe Patty sucks or what? Do you think Patty's overhyped or what?
I think he's another guy that's got the engine behind him. I think he's marketable. Sure. And I think that he's gonna be sheltered to make as much money as possible. And then when he gets into a real fight, I think he's gonna get beat up. That's what I think.
But that's the thing, like, we see it, right? We see that he's like like one of he's the privileged, I guess you could say, in the situation. Dana White likes him. He's got, charismatic and stuff like that.
He's marketable. Yeah,
he's marketable. And that's the thing, is that's why you're not going to see him fighting any big names until it benefits all the other little stuff that Dana White wants to use. And then he'll be like, oh, Patty. Yeah, Patty will fight. Oh, Sean O'Malley. That'll be a great fight to put him into. I don't think he's going to win, but fuck it. We'll put him up against someone that's going to make him run and move and jump and fly and do all that shit. So, but yeah, that's about it. The Sean O'Malley fight, I really got to go check out. I think Sterling beats him, though. He did a really good job this past he fought Henry Cejudo.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and he did really, really well against Henry Cejudo. And Henry Cejudo is a fucking beast. He's an animal, man. The kid just knows his shit.
Yeah.
And Sterling was able to do his work. He was able to kind of surprise everybody and actually hold his ground. But Henry Cejudo, the same way, kind of carries himself in interviews like he's undefeatable. He's kind of like one of those guys that's just like, I'll destroy everybody.
Yeah.
And Sterling did a fucking phenomenal job, like quarreling it and keeping his shit up. So against a guy like, think about it. When you look at Henry Cejudo, do you see Sean O'Malley fighting Henry Cejudo and being successful against him?
No.
Not really. I think Henry Cejudo takes him down, runs him into the ground.
I'm surprised. I'm more surprised that Sean O'Malley even got this fight, to be honest with you.
Yeah. I mean, he's not. Did he win his last fight?
Yeah.
Yeah, he won his last fight. I want to say he had lost a fight a while back and kind of like lost traction, right?
I think he won his last fight, dude, and I just don't see how he's in position for this fight, to be honest.
And Rongo Rick says it there. Patty also is one fight away from a 4-fight losing streak. That's pretty rough, man. That is pretty rough. I'm not gonna lie. Yeah, but onwards onto the other stuff, boys. We talked a lot about that stuff already. So
since we're talking about fighting, Have you by any chance happened to see like the ongoing fight between Bob Iger and your boy DeSantis?
No, I have not. I mean, I understand what you mean, but no, I haven't seen what's going on with that. I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna put this up already, man. Let's put up some fucking Disney upfront news.
I mean, that is a fight we're talking about. I just
wanna
love
know.
seeing. I just love seeing old ass Bob Iger drag his old Mickey Mouse balls on DeSantis's face and saying, "What are you gonna do about it?" Like, honestly, I don't care what your political views are. I just love watching old men like fight in public. I love that shit. Yo.
I don't know. Yeah, there's a certain vibe to it. I'm really into watching, of course, like the debating podcasts.
Yeah.
So tonight I saw, or this morning, I had seen Ethan Klein from H3H3.
Yeah.
And he's with this guy named Hassan. I don't know if you know who. Are you familiar with Hassan or no?
Yeah, I'm very, very familiar.
I'm not a big fan of Hassan Piker, but boy, are they dumb as shit. They're fun to watch.
Hassan either gets on my nerves, either I love him or he just gets on my fucking nerves, bro. He's he's one or the other.
Well, today, Ethan and Hassan were doing a video and they were talking about ABBA and Preach. Are you familiar with ABBA and Preach?
Mm-hmm.
And those guys, like, yeah, like they have their moments where they shine and they don't shine. But like those dudes are dudes, like they're dudes, like they're guys, man. They're like men, you know what I mean? Like, and compared to like Ethan and Hassan, and they were like Ethan's there being like, man, those guys are soft, bro. Like, if you want to go to war, I can go to war. And I was like, dude, what are you even asking, bro? What are you asking, man? There's this like weird vibe that a lot of these people are starting to be or act like they got some street cred behind them.
Yeah,
like they got some street effort, and I just thought it was kind of like, I don't know, like there's something funny about it. I don't really like, it's not something I care to talk about, but I just thought it was just funny just to hear him talk. And it's like you said, like when you hear grown men like bickering at each other and fighting at each other, and it's like, well, just throw hands already, bro. Like, I want to see where this goes. Like, I want to see what y'all got, because you guys got some words with some weight, but I don't know if you got hands with weight. You know what I mean? Like, I want to just, for me, it was one of those things like Ethan and Hassan talking. I know that, is it Abba's the skinnier guy, right? Yeah. Preach is the smaller guy, but Preach does Muay Thai. Like, I know that he trains like casually, like he casually trains. I don't think he's like a Muay Thai fighter taking matches in fucking Bangkok or whatever, but you know, getting in there and understanding the combat sport and at least getting to touch something like kind of gives you some leadway. I guess you could survive a street fight or whatever. Mm-hmm. But I don't think, you know, now we're in the spot of the world where YouTubers can be like, yo, well, let's just book a fight on that stupid card shit and let's just get it out.
And that's the reason why I don't like giving any type of acknowledgement to like the KSIs of the world. Or
dude, I fucking laugh my ass off, dude, because it's like, hey, just get it done in boxing, boys. Like, just get it done. It's a dumb thing to call each other out on words and then there be boxing right next to you guys. So yeah, but that's what it kind of reminded me of. But what was going on with these guys? So it's Disney.
Well, just let me let you know. The first haymaker, if you will, since we're on the topic of fighting, was thrown by our boy Bob Iger. He basically canceled the plans for a $1 billion dollar development, which was going to be a corporate campus on Lake Nona in Florida, which is right by the Orlando airport, because him and DeSantis have been going back and forth for God knows how long now. This all basically started from DeSantis starting the don't say gay bill or
okay. I remember that was a thing like a couple of months ago. It was real big, right?
It was a couple of years ago.
It was like the talking point.
Yeah, so the don't say gay bill or whatever, and then coming from that, a lot of Disney employees basically hated working in Florida at that point.
Well, I mean, wait, hold on. So like, I get that the title of the bill is called "Don't Say Gay," but like, what is the back of that law? Like, what is it about? Like, is it literally them trying to like make it illegal to say gay, like in the state? I don't understand it.
Not as literal as that, but anything that, and honestly, don't get me wrong, because I have not.
Yeah, because I don't get it, because I know that there was a big, I mean, they're against the way it is in Britain, where people are getting arrested for saying the wrong type of nouns or verbs or whatnot. Mm-hmm. And people are able to get arrested in that country if you say the wrong type of thing. And I don't think we're in that situation here in the United States yet, are we, with this? Because this just seems like it would be the opposite. Like the other party is like, okay, well, we'll pass a law that you just can't say shit. And it's like, hey guys, that's
Yeah.
not cool.
Honestly, I don't know. I don't even think that's really like a big part of like
Okay.
what's going on here. I think it's more or less of the fact that because he did that, a lot of people were pissed for working in Disney in Florida. They wanted no parts of it, right? So
I'm
they were basically go ahead. What's going on, bro?
I'm fucking laughing at fucking Rick. Rick's just like, Hassan's a bitch. Hassan's a bitch. Like he's just going off on Hassan. Don't worry about that guy. Less dreams on Hassan. Let's focus on the product. Hassan was a 5% of what we were talking about. Don't worry about that guy, Rick. You're better. You're better than Hassan. Do you read what he's saying? It's going wild on this shit.
No, I'm trying to talk about my topic. I didn't read.
Yeah. I'm sorry, dude.
Yeah, so it was set for the development was set for 2026. And Florida was going to promise them a $570 million tax break.
Wow.
But I guess Bob Iger said, "Fuck that! I don't give a fuck." What do you think this means? Like, how do you feel about Bob Iger just canceling this $1 billion development?
Well, I mean, it's the essence that they need to show that they still have power. Because back in the day, I don't know if a lot of people know this, but like Disneyland was like the Vatican, man. Like in Florida, it was its own state. Its own laws were established, its own police force. Like, they could do what's I mean, of course, they still have to follow Florida law or whatever. But like, if they wanted to arrest somebody and have them detained, they could do that within their event center, and then they have to release them to the city later or whatnot. But this is just, I think, Bob Iger's way of showing like, hey, look, we know you're a politician, but that's as far as your shit goes. Like our establishment has been around for years, and you trying to pass a law against this really isn't going to affect us that much. Like we can work around that. That's not a problem.
Yeah.
I just think that's what it is. And it's good. Like Bob Iger's got to, in the sense of when it comes to business versus business, like you have to stand your ground. You know what I mean? You have to stand your ground. But like, I know that there's some shit that Disney's got to fix, just like everybody else. You know what I mean? Like, so it's one of those things like I'm guessing, what's his name? DeSantis or whatever. He wants Disney to play by his rules or whatever. But fuck his rules. Like I'm one of those people that I'm against conformity and bullies and shit like that. So the idea of what DeSantis is trying to pass with the, but again, I'm not really familiar with it. I have to go back and really, really pay attention to what this is all about. But yeah, I mean, Bob Iger standing up is pretty cool for him in the Disney world. But I think the harder he pushes, you have a whole state that's fighting against you, which is going to be rough on Disney. So I don't know where it goes from here. I really don't know where it goes from here.
Yeah, they do bring in a lot of revenue for the state, so I mean, he has some leverage there. So we'll see. I think it's gonna get messy. I think there's gonna be a lot of residual effect here. I think that a lot of people that moved to that specific area thinking that the property values were gonna rise are now gonna find that it's gonna actually depreciate. Also any construction contracts they might have had, any mom and pop stores that were thinking they were gonna get some more revenue. That's not gonna happen. Hotels, airports, people that are planning on airlines thinking that people are gonna fly into Florida more often. That's not gonna happen. I'm more interested to see what DeSantis is going to do in response to this, because I think that Bob Iger is the old guy that's like on his way out that does not care at this point. And if you really fuck with him, he'll just shut down the parks and then tell you to go fuck yourself. And then
and then what are they going to do?
And then what? Yeah. And then what?
I mean, that's not even to mention the fuckload of jobs they've already cut from the park itself. You know what I mean? Overall. And not only that, so that's like jobs that 2,000-3,000 people that are losing their jobs just from the park itself.
Yeah,
that's a big ass number, Brench, when it comes to the unemployment of the state. So then you have that, and not only that, now I think we heard that they're closing down the Star Wars hotel, which is another part, which is part of them cutting costs on the area of Disney and all that stuff.
Dude, would you want to stay at a Star Wars hotel for real?
I mean, if it wasn't $5 billion to stay there, I wouldn't mind.
There's no windows. You know that, right?
Well, yeah, it's just there's no windows in fucking space. I didn't expect that either. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you're going to be on a Star Cruiser. It's going to be moons and stars and shit that are in your windows. You know what I mean? Like it's I guess it's just the aesthetic of it. Like you're kind of like the what's it called? The immersion of you being there. The windows are all covered in you being in space. Like I'm not expecting it to be like I don't want to see fucking Florida if I'm staying in a Star Wars hotel. You know what I mean? Like it's weird as fuck, but I don't want to see it. But yeah, man, I would definitely want to give it a try. The only problem to me was like it's just so astronomically expensive to stay there for like
1,200 per person,
Dude,
and it's 1,200 per person, and you're capped at like 2 nights. You can only stay
that's
for 2
too
nights.
much, dude. Like that's just too much for me, man. There's
Like
no way.
even
Like,
if you wanted to splurge the 1,200 per person per night, you're only there like you're only capped
you're
at
only there for 2 nights.
you're only there for 2 nights.
That's it. Like fuck. I hope you don't plan on staying the whole week to see, the fucking park or whatever, because you'll be 2 days in Star Wars, 2 other days in fucking Motel 6 or whatever.
Have you seen pictures of these rooms though? They're literally there's no reason why you're paying $1,200.
You know what they remind me of?
There's no way you can tell me the
That is $1,200
yeah,
worth of a
the
hotel
amenities
stay.
that you're gonna get besides the paint galaxy on the walls is worth $1,200. There's no
It
way.
reminds me of those capsule hotels in Japan that people like slide into to sleep in.
Pods, yeah.
The pods hotel. That's what it reminds me of, but a $12,000 one or $1,200 one. It's wild, dude. I'll see if I can pick it
No,
up. Real quick.
George, that sounds great. Like the I guess being inside the hotel, going to a bar, they're serving you some weird shit that you can get drunk off of, and some weird food that you're gonna love. But look at the pictures of the rooms. They looks like some basic fucking shit with just like some.
It looks like an uncomfortable bed, dude.
They look like they just threw some those old school.
Like that's the one for your kids, dude.
Yeah,
That's where your kids sleep.
bro?
That's where your kids sleep, dude. Yeah, this does not look. Look at the. I mean, it just doesn't look comfortable, dude. Like this, that looks cool.
Yeah, that looks cool. Like you
This-
walking around the hotel, you running
That's a
into
cruise
Darth
line, though.
Vader and some stormtroopers. That looks cool.
This is a
But
cruise
once you-
line, though.
But once you get, that's a cruise line. That's something different.
That's
But
something
once
totally different.
But once you get into your room and you see how small and cramped that shit is, and then you have to realize that you paid $1,200 for this room.
Look at this. That dude does not look like he's having a great time. That dude looks like he's looking at his fucking bank account and he's like, "What? $1,200 for this?"
Now, a Star Wars Hooters does sound like fun. I
That
would
looks
love to
cool.
see what that looks like.
The cruise line?
No, George said we can go to a Star Wars Hooters, and I said that sounds
Star Wars Hooters. Oh,
that sounds like a good idea.
is that a place in this place or what?
No, but we should make that.
Yo, if this was like a hotel in Vegas, I'd be more entertained.
I listen, and David makes a great point. And by the way, thanks David for popping in.
Yeah. Good
I
to see you,
I watch your clips. You
the
guys have a
Collectors
great-
Podcast, man.
Yeah,
My
you
boy.
guys have a great podcast, by the way.
Mhm.
You don't stay in the room. I get that part, but for $1,200 a person, you're gonna have to give me something more than that. Like I can stay at some cheap motel for like
Bro, that is
a
the
few
shot.
dollars if I'm not
Look.
worried about just staying in the room.
This is the shot from the second bed amenity that's up there. Like, how uncomfortable does that room look?
Yeah, that's what I'm
Comparing
saying.
Yeah,
Look,
comparing
listen,
it to like a
look.
fucking $80 hotel stay.
There's no fucking room from the foot of that bed to wherever that TV is. There's no room. Like there's no room to do anything. And let's say, all right, let's say if you're a parent, which a lot of us in here are, you don't want to share a room with your fucking kids. Pardon my language. So
Yeah.
now if you want an additional room, you have to get another room for your kids. And no, I'm good. That's way too much.
Yeah,
Way
this
too
is
much.
yeah. And then they're
If you
gonna
want to
tell
have
you
freaky
something
time, if
that's
you want to
like,
have freaky time with your missus in the Star Wars room, you can't because now your kids are in the bunk bed right next to you, bro. Get out of here. I'm good.
you see, it's supposed to look like this, and that's a big room though.
That's not what
Like
it looks
that's just a bigger room in general, and it looks comfortable. This shit, look
Look
at
at
that's
that.
the table you got to eat on. That's like you in an RV.
That's what I'm saying.
This looks like an RV. That's all it looks like.
And they were paying $1,200 per, not even $1,200 a room, $1,200
Bro,
per
that door looks
person.
uncomfortable. Just that doorway looks uncomfortable as fuck, dude.
Yeah,
Like
I
I don't
have
even
a
know how to explain it, but that looks like the Titanic movie when they're like, "Oh, the fucking lower class, this is your room," and
bro.
they
If
give
you
you
take
your
a
hallway, and
dump,
you gotta like
listen,
turn sideways to go
listen.
through it
If
and
you
shit.
take a dump in that
Oh,
bathroom,
everyone's
your
affected, dude.
room is fucked, bro. You're
Everyone's
fucked.
affected. Everyone's affected. That's wild, man. Okay, just on through and through. This looks like it would have been the set for the cruise line,
hmm
not the hotel. Like this just doesn't look like it's made for a hotel. Like that's just opinions are opinions and stuff. I wouldn't pay the $1,200 or whatever to look at this shit. To stand the shit. No, fuck no.
I get it. I mean, it's the whole experience, and like Dave said, you're not really spending too much time in the room. But if I am paying that much, I expect a little bit more from the room, personally. And maybe that is the I don't know what the fuck, man. That looks horrible. That looks like a really bad time. Like, first off, you're gonna be with these kids all day. They're gonna be pissing you off, and you're not gonna want to share a room with them at the end of the night. I have been on these trips before. You're gonna want to get them their own room. That's gonna be a very expensive trip.
Wrong hole, Rick. I really don't know how to come back from that. That's crazy talk, but I get it. I mean, I get it. I like that's like the conspiracy stuff, real fucking Bohemian Grove kind of shit. But I mean, I don't know about all that magic stuff. I'm not a big magic guy. Whenever I go to Vegas and see magic, it's usually just a bunch of dudes laying on their side acting like cheerleaders and shit. So I mean, it's cool. Like I mean, I get it. Aleister Crowley, that's a interesting pool of names for a concept that we're just kind of talking about Disney itself. I don't know. I just know that. Yeah, I get it. Yeah, no, we get you. I can see it in your comments, bro.
I was gonna say,
You don't
yeah.
even need to say it out loud. We understand what you're saying. Oh, okay. So you just don't at all. Like
He doesn't mess with Disney at all.
you
Yeah,
don't just
yeah.
mess with Disney at all. Oh, okay, that makes
Yeah.
sense.
There's a
I
lot
mean,
of
I
people
get it,
that are
dude.
like that, though.
Yeah,
There's a
I
lot of
get it.
people that don't.
Yeah.
That because of the exact same reason.
Yeah. That was
The
like the whole
symbolisms and all that stuff. Yeah.
Save the Kids movement and all that stuff that was going on a while back, which is, I mean, it's where a lot of this stuff comes from. And you know what? I mean, it doesn't come without some type of story or evidence and stuff where we would see that there was a lot of like awkward child molestation cases that were coming out of like Disney from like actual like people that worked in the business. And it's crazy because when you're messing with like a staff of like 3,000 people, you're gonna get your occasional pieces of shit in there.
Yeah.
Like it's almost guaranteed.
It's with
dude.
anything. It's with anything,
Yeah,
dude.
that's going to be in any situation. Now, do you correlate it with the whole thing? Like the whole Disney because of like a couple of bad apples? Because then you have to take that mentality and put it across the board.
Yeah.
You have to put it to every situation because if not, then you're a hypocrite. So that goes with religion, that goes with schools, that goes with karate schools. Fuck what I do. Like there's that type of people in every facet of group you can think of. So you if you're gonna hate on one thing, hate on all of it, and then fight against it, I guess. But it's an uphill battle, man. I'm telling you, man, it's an uphill battle. What other stuff is going on? So with DeSantis doing that to Disney, is there anything else coming out of that nature? Because we've heard of other stuff. I mean, of course, Kathleen Kennedy, still making fucking noises in Star Wars.
Kathleen Kennedy has been getting a really big run on our show. It's like she's been coming up a lot.
Yeah. Well, I mean, she's the
And
voice.
there's no news coming out of Star Wars, really, bro.
Yeah.
Besides, like the Filoni. I'm sorry. There was the Filoni movie. Was said to have been written completely by Filoni, and it's only going to be produced by Jon Favreau, which I salute. And this goes back to my F the Russo brothers campaign, which I am crusading on my own because I have no support by you. And
I got
Triggs.
support. I support you. I may not agree with it all the way, but I will fucking pick it with you, my man.
No, I have no support. I'm in this war. I'm on this crusade by myself. I have full faith in Dave Filoni to take us where we need to go. He is going to take us to the fucking promised land, and it's Filoni or bust. Fuck the Russos.
Well, I mean, I'm in the same boat. I believe Filoni's. I think he is the man that needs to be running the Star Wars storyline. Why? Because he's the only person that literally gets it, other than Favreau and Filoni themselves. I mean, you can't go off and be like, oh, even more than Kathleen Kennedy, who was there in the beginnings with George Lucas, like making it happen. she does not have the desire to push the way that Favreau and Filoni do. Like it's just what is. Or you know what? What about that? What's his name's daughter? The one that did the episode of Boba Fett.
Oh, Bryce.
She did very well. She did fairly well on her series episode debut. That wasn't that bad.
Yeah. No, she did a fucking phenomenal. She gave us one of the best episodes in the series. Mm-hmm. My thing is this. The direction that the fans want Star Wars to go is more in line with what Dave Filoni wants. Yeah, is what Filoni is doing.
Yeah, because we're getting. I feel like, as a person that watches it, that they get it more. Yeah. Than what they have been giving us, which is like the last trilogy. Even some of the series that I may like or may not like, those guys kind of, they get it more. And if we give them that opportunity, they can at least fix and put into places what would make more sense than what we have been getting.
Yeah. John, we covered that last week about Kathleen Kennedy announcing the shows and the movies that are coming up. So yeah, I mean, listen, I don't know how long she's got, to be honest with you. But it seems as though if you just let Filoni cook, and that's the campaign I'm on, just let Dave Filoni cook, bro. Let him do his thing. Honestly, if I were Kathleen Kennedy, if I know that my time is limited, I would just attach myself to Dave Filoni. I would get out of his way, and I would just let him cook. I would let him do what he wants to do, and then I would just live and die by whatever he does. If he succeeds, that makes me look good. I might even get a renewal on my contract if you fail.
Yeah. And with Pride too, it's not like we're renewing it just because. It's going to be
like renewing it because then I have a fall guy. Like I would have a fall guy at that point. Like right now, you are the fall guy, Kathleen Kennedy. Like you are the fall guy. You don't. I
really think you're right, man. Like if Kathleen Kennedy was to pull some move and be like, hey, you know what? Like I'm moving Dave Filoni and Jon Favreau up. They're going to be like my guys next to me that are going to help me run it, and I'm going to let them make decisions. They can bring in the directors, the writing team, whoever they want, and they're going to be doing the next couple of seasons. Of course, they'll have to work with some of the directors I've chosen, Rian Johnson, Taika Waititi, those people, but be there as the producers to help them at least line it up to the stories that we have, or line it up to at least the universe. Mm-hmm. Because if I'm not mistaken, I think both of those series have to deal with outside of the Skywalker universe. So one of them is going to be like an old school Knights, which is going to be like the 10,000 year war from like the old Republic. And then the other one's going to be like, a Taika Waititi movie, whichever he chooses to do. It could be, man, we could get a whole ass comedy out of nowhere. Just Taika Waititi comedy in space. I'd be about it. Like a funny spaghetti Western or just anything in general, man. I'd be about it.
There's conflicting reports though. Like some people are saying that we're moving away from the Skywalker.
I think they have to
thing, but then other people are saying that no, they're actually going to move more towards it, and that we might get actually more Luke Skywalker, like specifically in the near future.
I don't know how else they do it. We literally seen his whole fucking life, like from beginning to end. I don't know where else they go with it.
Like honestly, there's a huge chunk that we haven't seen though. Like
that's the Filoni stuff.
That's the Filoni stuff.
Yeah, and that's why
it aligns.
But you look at Rian Johnson and you look at Taika Waititi, we know for sure that those guys are coming in with something. Yeah. And more than likely, we understand that one of them is going to get the old Republic, the Knights of the Old Republic style story, bringing up like Darth Revan and all those old school badass Sith from back in the day. And even though it doesn't relate to the Skywalker storyline, it's still in the universe, in the history and the lure of it. They have a lot to open up on and stuff. And that's what I'm more excited for. I would love to see a Revan story or Darth Bane, or even like you know what I'd actually like to see? I'd actually like to see like the beginning of the Sith universe world, like how they were almost like ostracized and pushed, and they were like almost like they were the ostracized race in the universe back in the day, and they were pushed to that Coruscant, the planet of the Sith. And on that planet, there was a certain like species that those people then rallied around and created like their own religion around it. And that's where the Sith came from. It was a really interesting story.
Yeah.
I'd like to see like a whole, like, what is it called? Moses, let my people go, kind of like Sith story.
Yeah.
Fucking raise the bar, dude. Like right now we see the Sith and we're like, villains. But it's like, no, they're misunderstood, bro. You don't understand. They were the people back in the
I
day.
think we're definitely gonna get that. I think
That'd be
that's
so
definitely
fucking cool,
on the
man.
horizon. And that's been in the works. I think we're definitely gonna get that actually. And
Star
David,
Killer.
I definitely think that you're right as well. That Luke
That'd be
in
a
like the
beautiful
new
fucking
temple
story.
and that new Jedi temple era, I think that is like the sweet spot where Filoni and George Lucas meet. I think that's where they're gonna go. Um, and I also did hear rumors coming from what John is saying. You guys are making some good comments, by the way.
Yeah, yeah.
John said Luke Skywalker in the comic books has a kid
Has
or has
kids.
kids. I do think we're going down that avenue as well.
That would be interesting, man. There's a
So
lot of
like
stuff, man.
I understand what you're saying, Chris, is like what else can you do? But Luke Skywalker has a lot of untold shit that hasn't hit the screen yet.
And not
So
only that, they fucking destroyed his character in the last trilogies. Like, and I don't think it was, I think the guy had purpose. Like, the director was like, oh, this is going to hit really hard. But like, they had a lot of like push against it, even from Mark Hamill himself saying, like, hey, man, I don't agree with this, but it's not my story anymore. Like, what do you do as the actor who's portraying a role and they've written an entire story about it and you're there just to act out the thing? But like, even him, the actor, knew that his character, after he had been through so much, that he wouldn't have gone down that way. And then that's what they decided to follow. They did the trilogy and all that stuff, and they got to the end. They did the whole astral projection distance and had him killed off and all this stuff. And it was really distasteful, and a lot of fans didn't like the way it ended like that. So
what do
like,
you say to this? Let me ask you a question.
You know what I realized? I don't know you're gonna say it, but I didn't have you on the show when we talked about the last movies, man. You would have loved it, dude.
No, I would have just been
You
taking
would
a
have just
big.
you would have been in our role, man.
I would have just been
You would
taking
have
a
been shitting all over it, dude.
big old dump on it. So yeah, I'm glad.
You would have loved it.
What do you say to this? And I've been hearing this float around. I'm not saying that there's rumors about it, but people have been putting this out there, and I think it's very interesting. What would you say if they wanted to go in a direction with Luke that him and Ahsoka had a kid?
I wouldn't like it.
Why?
I don't know. There's just something weird about it. Like,
What's weird about it?
well, she was, for one, she was older than him. Like, she was older. Well, I mean, I don't know how it works.
Anakin and Padme were like, how was it with the? She was a queen when he was a freaking.
She was grooming him, man.
Yeah,
there's a whole ass meme about that shit.
We sat there and watched Padme groom this kid.
Yeah,
and we said nothing.
Kid,
and now you have an issue with this. Come on.
Oh, I mean, I talk shit about that too, but the idea is like, what's wrong with aliens? Come on, Chris, fam. Everyone's like, let him clap those alien cheeks and shit. I mean, I'm not. If they want to take it in that direction, that's fine. But I would have seen it as she sees the son of her master, and she's like, she'll always feel like his protector. I feel like that would be more of a thing rather than a, hey, you know what, I'm gonna protect you, but man, I need some payment or whatever.
But that space milk. Some crazy
nights.
Yeah,
I need some of that blue milk on you, buddy.
Some crazy nights on that blue milk, man. You never know, bro.
Yeah, man. That guy's sucking it straight from the teeth of the monster and shit.
A little bit too much.
Luke's a little freaky, man.
Luke might look a little, you know what I mean?
I mean, dude, he understands some shit. I mean, he walked in on Kylo Ren and Rey doing it or doing stuff, about to touch hands, astral projection wise. He's like, I ain't having any of this shit. I'll destroy your whole ass building, dude. He knows, dude. He knows some shit. I don't know, but there was another girl, and I think her name was like Laura or something. She's some redhead chick that Luke Skywalker had a relationship in the comic books with.
No.
And I'll look it up. I'll look it up real quick. Let me look up her name real fast, just so you guys know.
I mean, weird things have happened in the lore of Star Wars, dude. I saw
Mara Jade.
What?
Mara Jade.
Mara Jade. Okay.
Yeah, that was the girlfriend of Luke Skywalker, who he of course had children with in the stories, and she's pretty prominent in the comic books and stuff like that too. So it's not far fetched that we know that from the Anakin storyline to the Luke Leia storyline, and then past them to the Ben Solo storyline, that there was this like religious change in the Jedi Temple that was like Jedis have no feelings, to where Luke was against that. Obi-Wan was for it. Not Obi-Wan, but Qui-Gon Jinn. Qui-Gon Jinn was like on the scratching surface of it, which was also where Count Dooku was, where he believed that you needed passion and love to be a better moral person when it's humane to coming to decisions and helping people, not just a robot or someone that's just superficial with feelings. Obi-Wan did it, but didn't speak of it, where he had this like, he used love as a driving force. Ahsoka suffered from it and then deemed herself not even a Jedi because she felt love. Then later on, you have Luke, who reestablishes the Jedi Academy, informing people that, hey, it's okay to love. In fact, it's good to love because it makes you compassionate to be a good person. So like it helps you to be good rather than be hateful, where it's bad in the Sith. You know what I mean? So like the concept of it's there. And there's no one else to rebel against Luke Skywalker adding love to the Jedi Council. Like who's gonna deem him wrong? A dead Obi-Wan, a dead Yoda, a dead somebody that's gonna be like, well, I'm gonna haunt you for the rest of your life because you put love in this. And then you'll be like, well, watch me clap cheeks, dude. Like in
I
your
think
ghost
it's I think after everything we've seen over the years, when it comes to being a Jedi, everything is just cloudy. It's just
so convoluted.
It's very convoluted.
Yeah,
it's
they don't even know what makes a good
They
Jedi.
don't. Yeah, they don't. And I think that's where I'm trying to get to with this.
Yeah.
They don't even know what it means to be a Jedi. To be honest with you,
yeah, it to me, it's just one of those things. Like it almost became like they believe their own hype. And that's what kind of sucked earlier about it, because you had someone like a really, really, really glorified version of it, Mace Windu. He was very, very staggering when it came to like, no, it's got to be this way. And that was kind of like he was above Yoda in that situation back in the prequels. So even Yoda, you could see where he's kind of like, even like in it, when he's with Luke later on, he talks about how he knows Luke is going to leave because of the love for his friends.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like he knew it. He knew what it was about. And he knew there was no way of stopping that tidal wave of emotion coming in and embedding itself in the system. And I think deep down inside, he kind of knew, even in the later movies, when he allowed the tree with all the knowledge to catch on fire. And he was kind of like, well, maybe this is a testament of it. Maybe our old ways need to burn to bloom this new way, which is what they're building right now. Maybe we need to be left in the past and in the history. Mm-hmm. So I mean, I strongly believe that that's kind of like the next venture into the Star Wars thing. I really do. Like, and that's the concept with the whole Ben Kenobi thing, where Luke was worried that he wasn't going to be good enough to help Ben Kenobi or Ben Solo be a better Jedi than he was. I don't think it was going to be one of those things that him worrying about being too good was going to drive him to be a Sith and get like the red eyes like Luke Skywalker had when he was going to kill him as a kid. Mm-hmm. I didn't understand that, but I mean, whoever was the director of that film chose that to show the severity of the emotional content that he was in. I mean, I guess I wasn't really all that fond of it, but I get it. To me, I just think that there's so much opportunity for the Star Wars, like what Dave Filoni, Favreau are doing, the shows, the Boba Fett, the Mandalorian, Ahsoka Tano. Great, because I think that's a big missing section of this really beautiful masterpiece that puts it all together.
Yeah.
And I think that there's a really good possibility that those films can fix the later trilogy. I think that should be the major concern for what's coming up next. Is I think they should bring Filoni and Dave Favreau to say, hey, you know what? We kind of fucked up with the J.J. Abrams, Rian Johnson, and J.J. Abrams trilogy at the end. Is there any way that you can make the Ahsoka Tano work and your film coming up that can kind of like make it a little bit better? You know, can you give us a cooler story with Finn that's why he didn't become a Jedi, or maybe we will later? But that was like, man, dude, that really hurt me so much, dude.
Yeah.
Finn's story is the one that fucked me up the most, dude.
It fucked you up, huh?
It fucked me up because like they even gave him that line in the last movie when they're going in the quicksand and he's like, Ray, I want to tell you something. I've always wanted to tell you something. And then they go in and she's like, what do you want to say? And he never even talks about it throughout the whole movie. They never did the Jedi thing with him. They never did anything with him. They
I
gave
think
him
one
a
of the
different
biggest
relationship.
I think one of the biggest tragedy or travesties in the whole Star Wars lore is Finn.
Yeah.
I think Lucasfilm blinked when it came to that character. I think they had a vision for him.
Yep.
And because of whatever narrative was out there between the fans and the public, they blinked and they went a different route, and it could have been done a lot better.
It could have been a fuckload better. If I was that, what was his name? What was the actor's name?
It's like an African name. I can't remember, but
yeah, I can't remember. If I was him too, I know that he was pissed off.
I mean, rightfully so. Again, yeah. I'm pretty sure he was sold on the idea of what they're. Oh yeah, John Boyega.
Yeah, John Boyega.
I'm pretty sure he was sold on the vision of what they initially had, and it just didn't. That didn't turn out that way.
I mean, I would, if I was him, I would have my recollection of ever coming back if they asked me. Like they would need
Star Wars though.
They would, dude. I mean, you would assume it's Star Wars and then not fuck up your character that bad.
I would probably stick him up for some more money. I might get fired for that.
I was gonna be like,
but I ain't going nowhere. I'm not gonna go anywhere though. I'm sorry. Like that sounds good, but no, you're not going.
Okay, let me ask you something because you're a man. You're a man of this, man. You're deep in this.
Yeah.
In the last trilogy, with what they did with Finn, if they were gonna return to this storyline, what would you like to see in the next film with John Boyega's character? I really don't care about any other character. There's no other character I care about more than John Boyega's character in the situation.
So, I mean,
it's hard to say, right?
I would have liked for him to explore more of his Force sensitivity, because that was the original plan. Like his
he was
original
supposed to be a Jedi.
Yeah,
or at least not a Jedi, but like he was supposed to me. He was supposed to be like the first student.
Yeah, like the first student I would have liked for that to come to fruition. So if you wanted to kind of play into the latency of that a little bit, in movies going forward, then I would be a fan of that. But as of right now, where the character is, I'm just so disconnected. I don't even care, to be honest with you. They're gonna have to do a lot to get me back invested in that character from where he is right now, currently, personally.
You know what I would actually like to see, and it's just a shot in the dark. Do you remember Knights of the Old Republic?
Yes.
Do you remember? I think it might have been part 2, but the character you played at the very beginning was like this, like transport guy that just had a lightsaber.
Mm-hmm.
Like he just carried one, and then later on to find out that he actually does have some type of like Force abilities, but he acquired a lightsaber through family or through a friend or through someone. That's what I would like for his character to be. Okay. I like for him to be like, now he just works as a transport. He has this badass little, like kind of like what's his name? Cal Kestis' setup.
I was just gonna say that, like, I understand what you're saying, but you have Cal Kestis for that role.
Yeah, but that's the same setup as like that guy from back in the day, which is the same thing as Ezra Bridges. Like they all have that pistol lightsaber kind of thing going on. Mm-hmm. But that's a very like renegade, very like ranger character in the Star Wars lore.
That's what Cal Kestis.
It's really cool though. I fucking dig that kind of character.
I think those type of characters will always work.
Yeah. Oh, fuck yeah. And I just think it was so cool because, you had the Finn character that at the very end of the story, he kind of like turned into like this war hero, but he wasn't a Jedi. He was just a dude. But for some reason, like in the script, it was like, oh, he feels like there's something over there, so go that way. Yeah. So like they always kind of like tease that he had some kind of ability, but he didn't. He just had a good intuition or whatever. But like just to have him be like, hey, well, you know what? Like, a couple years down the road, never went back for lightsaber or Jedi training because no one was training or had a school. He just kind of turned into like this transport dude. He found himself a lightsaber and he fucking got a gun. And he has, actually, as a matter of fact, he has Han Solo's gun because before he left and Rey decided to open up the school, she gave him the pistol of Han Solo because that's the path he was choosing to go to.
Yeah,
he was doing like what Han Solo's doing. Then he's got, fucking lightsaber and pistol, and he's out there doing it. Yeah, you see Michael Benkert. What is up, my dude? I hope your son had a really good time at his dance. We had hit you up earlier. You weren't able to make it, but I'm really proud that your son was able to get his groove on.
1000%. Yeah.
1000%, man. Thank you for chaperoning this thing, man. I didn't want him going out there and stealing all the girls, man. That's a really good point, man. Finn should have been the first force sensitive stormtrooper. That would have been a very interesting take. It really would have been, man. I mean, for Dave Filoni and Favreau to be a major part of the storyline right now, and putting their work in, there's so much that they could do to fix the last movies. Like, that's what I'm kind of hoping that they do. I'm really, really hoping that they're able to fix it, dude. Because I just don't know what else they do. Like, if they do it and they pull it off really well, and then you have the whole debacle of Kathleen Kennedy coming back, forcing them down, picking the other people up, destroying the franchise, I don't think it works anymore. I don't think it works.
Well, they're only slated for one movie as of right now.
Well, yeah, of course, but like, that's going to be the one that people are more clamoring for rather than the other ones. I think Rian Johnson gets his return. Everybody's going to, the first thing people are going to do is they're going to tear him down as the guy that tore the last trilogy up. You know what I mean? That's going to be the first, that's the reference that we have for him in Star Wars.
Listen, I'm going to be totally honest with you. I'm not looking forward to the Rey movie. I'm not looking forward to another trilogy. I'm not even looking forward to a Finn movie, to be honest, or a Finn character. Like, I want this Filoni movie, and that's it.
That's it.
And
that's because of the concept that's the only guy we have faith in.
Listen, I'm not a diehard Star Wars fan. I know a little bit more than the average person when it comes to Star Wars, but
you know enough.
I know enough. But when I know that, I get it. I get where the frustration from the hardcore fans come from, and I'm not that attached to it to where I need a better trilogy or I need something. I don't need that. What I prefer, what I want, is a Filoni movie, and that's it. So that's all I care about.
Mike, I know that Brian, did you have any questions that you wanted to ask Mike? That now that he's in the comment section, maybe you could.
I wanted to get Mike's perspective on the whole Disney DeSantis thing, but we kind of already like did that in and out. But I would have loved, Mike. That was the whole plan. I wanted to pick your brain about that to see what you thought about that. But that was it. That was honestly it.
As a matter of fact, going on, since we're on the idea of like Disney and Star Wars and stuff, have you heard anything about Marvel? Has anything popped off about Marvel? I know you said something about a ride.
Yeah. So over the past couple of days, they had a presentation. What was it called? It was called. You had it up there as a title.
In front.
Yeah. So up front, right? So basically what that was, it was a presentation to get people excited about the upcoming shows that were coming for Disney Plus, right? Okay. And so they had a new scene for Secret Invasion, which is coming out in June. And then also they talked about Loki season 2, which is coming out in October. And from what I'm hearing is that they're doing reshoots because they're not expecting Jonathan Majors to be associated with.
So it's still kind of like they're still really dicey about Jonathan Majors.
Yeah, I think production is planned to wrap maybe like a month before the show.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they're still making changes. I think yeah, that's wild. But they're not only that, but ultimately the big news from up front was that they were gonna drop Echo, the show, all to binge on November 29th. What do you think about that? What do you think?
Shit, it's about time they do shit episodes like that, man.
Let me rephrase that. What does that say to you? What does that say to you that they like most shows are episodic? You got to wait a week to get a new episode. What does that mean to you that they're dropping this entire show for you to binge?
They don't believe in it,
or that it sucks.
It's gonna suck. Yeah, it's gonna suck. You know what? I even think it's past this because I don't know if you remember that. the writers protesting and stuff like that that's going on always impacts, and there's never a return to where it was. It's always a starting fresh from there. That's the exact same thing that happened to Heroes, the show back in the day. During the writer's block, the first one, it was during the second season, which was the one that got hit the hardest. And then from there was no comeback. There was no comeback. They brought writers in and they couldn't get it to work. All the original writers quit. Like, it was really, really bad.
Yeah.
So like, that's kind of what it kind of correlates to, is that during this time, we knew that there were several shows that got put on the chopping block when it came to the writer's block or the writer's protest. We know that there were several shows that were all held, you know, Daredevil being one of them. So my concept would be, if they're releasing Echo, one, they know this character is not popular and they know it's going to hit the numbers. So if they don't put out all the show at once, they're not going to get the numbers they expect. They're not going to tune in. No one's going to be tuning into this shit because she's a cool character, but she's not a staple character.
Did you like the character in
yeah, she was fun. She was cool. I thought she was all right. I mean, I wasn't like against it. I thought it was cool. And then they were like, hey, well, this character is actually a person that has the actual disability of the character. Look at her go. And I was like, fucking hey, dude, like, that's awesome. Bringing in people of different ethnicities, people of, you know, with disabilities, to give them opportunities in Hollywood and get them like out of the, you know, structure of survival. Like the rest of us that, you know, I hope they have fat character Mexican dudes. I'll go and apply with that shit. Maybe I'll get that role and fucking come out of the fucking hole that I'm in. You know what I mean? Get some of that Disney money coming my way shit. But like, the concept is that's not a staple Marvel character, and it's hard for them to climb that. My biggest thing is, did you see what happened this past week in comic books? As a matter of fact, please tell me you saw.
No.
They killed off Kamala Khan.
I think you were talking about that, yeah.
Yeah, they killed Kamala Khan in a Spider-Man book, which she was only in like 3 comic books out of like a 20-something episodical comic book arc. She was only in 3, and they just killed her off. That apparently Spider-Man did something and it kills her. Who cares? Like I don't mean it in a disrespectful way. I like Kamala Khan. She's fun. She's a cool character, but she's not a staple character. And Marvel, for what it's doing, is it's using these like cheap tactics to force people to like her character instead of just organically making her good.
But it's and pardon me, because I know I'm stepping into a zone that you're way more knowledgeable than me, but I mean, from what I do know about comic books is that it's dry. It's been dry for years, dude.
Yes,
so they need to do things. They need to do things to shake
outlandish.
Yeah,
they need to do outlandish things, shocking, shock value kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And I think that's what it is. I mean, that's kind of what a lot of people were like, because a lot of people were thinking, because in the comic book, what happened was Spider-Man went into like a different multiverse, and it's faster than our time period. So time moves like 1 month, or 1 day is like 3 months. So like, Spider-Man's trying to get back because he left Mary Jane, who's now married to a different guy named Paul, and they both have children, and they don't know if it's their children or someone else's. But Peter Parker leaves them in that multiverse. He steals another thing to get them back, and it's really crazy. So a lot of people thought, 1, Mary Jane was going to die. Didn't happen. 2, Paul was going to die. And then it was going to be that Peter killed him in some way, and Mary Jane then holds that to him. Then it was either 3, one of the kids dies or goes missing or something happens. So that was the major thing for a lot of these people in this comic book run. And then all of a sudden, Kamala Khan just dies, and everyone was like, what the fuck? Like, why Kamala Khan? Why are you going to kill off Kamala Khan? Apparently, it was like a heroic moment for her character. She jumps in the way of a bullet, or kind of one of those situations, right? But my thing is, okay, recently they brought her in the series, right? They brought her series out. Pretty good hit, pretty fun to watch. Of course, it wasn't highly accepted, but nonetheless, it's still cool to add to the whole cinematic universe. But they did something different with her character. They made her a mutant. She's always been an inhuman in the comic books, and now in the television show, she's a mutant, the series, right?
Yeah.
So the only thing right now that a lot of people are saying that the reason why they killed her off is because they're going to take her to the mutant resurrection place and bring her back and make her a mutant. And that's literally the only reason why they killed off her character, is because now what they want it to be is that when people watch the series and they like her, and not only that, Captain Marvel, the movie's coming out where she's going to be a major player, and they're going to be like, she's a mutant, she's a mutant, she's a mutant. They want them to be able to go back to the comic book and read and see that she's a mutant.
I mean, I'm gonna play devil's advocate. It makes
It's
sense.
a good move. I mean, it's a good move.
It makes
But why
sense
go through all that trouble if you're just going to do that to your character?
because it's gonna create more money for you.
I guess, man.
If the version of Kamala Khan is getting the most eyes on the TV show and now this movie, and they're gonna be associated, and they're gonna associate her as being a mutant, why not make her a mutant in the comics? That just makes sense. Business
Yeah.
wise.
Michael Betancourt in the comment section says, calling it now, this will introduce Ultimate Miss Marvel, and she matches the MCU version. Close. I could see that too. They are rehashing the Ultimates universe again, which I'm not really sure how they're going to install it yet, but I know it's a part of the universe now. It's literally the rehash of the Ultimate Spider-Man death. This is the catalyst to send Miles Morales back to the Ultimate Universe, where he will meet up with Kamala Khan. Ultimate version. Oof, I hope they don't do that. I hope they don't do that, because that's already confusing enough. They already brought Miles Morales into the 616 from the Ultimate Universe, and it didn't create any bad blood or anything like that. I don't know. I just think it's a lot, man, for a character that's not like a staple character in the Marvel Universe. Because, I mean, we saw it, yesterday or today, right? That they released leaked videos of Captain America New World Order, right? Seth,
I'm calling it now. They're not going to keep that name. We actually had this conversation.
Yeah, we talked about that before. It's a
You
really
think,
hashy
you
name,
think
man.
they're gonna you think they're gonna keep the name, and I don't think they're gonna keep that name.
The only thing that they would be able to change it to that would make sense is Secret Empire. Secret Empire is the world where Captain America becomes a Hydra agent, which I do kind of feel like they are flowing with. But I think what they're going to do, and it sounds really weird, is they're going to use U.S. Agent instead of Captain America. And U.S. Agent is going to be that Hydra Captain America without knowing. And that's why Valentina, she's known as, what's the chick's name? Madam Hydra? She's Madam Hydra, and she had a really, in the Secret Empire comic book, she had a really intimate relationship with Captain America.
Mhm.
And it just so happens that she finds U.S. Agent, gets him a new suit, bulks him up, and he's all excited and happy. But she's like, "Okay, stupid guy, come with me." And he's like, "Yes, ma'am," or whatever. Like he's just like he's just like a little child or whatever. And that's really the way it is with Hydra Captain America after his brain's wiped. He's really just like a puppet for them. And it just so happens you have Madam Hydra, who is now in charge of Shield, right? She's in charge of Shield now. She's
I don't think she's in charge of Shield. She's like a FBI. She's
yeah,
in charge
CIA
of the
or something.
FBI.
She's in charge of something.
Yeah.
And this is all in the factor of that the Hydra Captain America story was Hydra taking over the United States. And several different people in the superhero universe, which are all street level characters, which is what's going on in the story, are all trying to wake the people up. But literally, like, Hydra took over the earth, and it, like, all the schools are reformed. Everything is like super fascist, super communistic or whatever, or imperialistic. And it's all based on Captain America of that one being the Serpent Supreme. That's what they call him, Serpent Supreme, Hydra Supreme or whatever. It's a very interesting story. I think it's a good take, but a lot of people are telling me there's like 10 bad guys in the whole story. Yeah. It's like huge when it comes to the cast. And I'm like, but that's what you can get away with all the street villains, because all of them just like jump and can land on light posts. They're not like flying into space and shit.
I'm trying. Ever since you said it, and you're talking now, but I've been in my head. I'm trying to figure out. You're gonna have
super Nazis. Yeah, super Nazis.
What's the captain of the agent? The
U.S. agent.
U.S. agent in what's the fucking stupid
New World Order? Captain America or the Thunderbolts.
In the Thunderbolts, he's gonna be,
because those are all street level characters. You can literally, it's like writing.
How the fuck are you gonna change him into the evil Captain America then?
Because he's not gonna be the evil Captain America. He's just gonna be U.S. agent being mind controlled by the serpents, the squadron, or the
That's stupid.
Serpents.
I think it's gonna be way better planned if you just take the fucking Captain America,
Chris Evans, right?
Yeah, if you take the Chris Evans that was mind wiped in fucking Endgame, make him the fucking
fuck
one.
Yeah, I'd love to see that shit. I've been telling people
that's already written for you.
Story,
Don't change that. Yeah, just use that.
It's the best story, but we just know that U.S. Agent is going to be a part of it. And it's such a good setup that they have him there. But in the aspect of it too, like I think it's a red herring. And what do I mean by that is we know that U.S. agent's a part of it. We know he's probably going to be in the movie also. And we know that Chris Evans is out there being like, nope, never going to do another Marvel movie again in my whole life. But that's the same thing like Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield. Nope, I'm not in Spider-Man. I don't even know what that is.
You know what? All these actors are bullshit. They're all bullshit.
They're playing the werewolf game, man.
It's funny because like they'll make I don't know how much they're making from Marvel or from the MCU, but I can guarantee you it's a better look than whatever they go out and do on their own.
True. So I say that all the time.
Like, let them go out, get whatever look they want, and they're gonna end up coming back to the MCU, bro.
Look, easiest thing that I could tell people is other than the Snyderverse Justice League, what did Ben Affleck do other than that Batman character that was worth a fuck that people cared for?
I think that's a bad example.
Why? What did he do after? Like it's literally like I'm not saying that he doesn't get good roles.
I think it's a bad example because he's done a lot before.
Yeah.
So
but then he called it quits with that one.
That's different from everyone else though. Like Chris Evans, what has he done before? Anthony Mackie, what has he done before?
8 Mile, man.
I think the only person that is not in that category in the entire MCU is Robert Downey. That's it. Everyone else,
that's because he can literally choose not to make a movie and still be a billionaire for the rest of his life.
And it's not only that; it's because he had a career before.
Yeah, he had really great movies. Sherlock Holmes.
Nobody else in the MCU had a career before the MCU.
I love that movie. I love the movie Push, dude. Man, Chris Evans was in Push. Push was a great fucking movie.
Nobody had a huge career before the MCU.
Chris Hemsworth, nothing, man.
Nobody.
Yeah.
You name it, nobody. The only person was Robert Downey. That's it.
And my thing is like you look like, okay, let's look at what these guys have done past
Samuel Jackson. Okay. I stand corrected.
Sam Jackson is like the dude though.
But you know what? He's not going out of his way saying that.
Yeah.
Fuck the MCU.
He's literally like, dude, I still
like he's in it.
Movies,
like Sam Jackson will make MCU movies until he dies. I promise you.
Samuel Jackson literally said, "I want to come back in Star Wars."
Yeah, like I'm speaking to the ones that say
they're just done with it. Like
they're done with the MCU.
What's her name? Zoe Saldana's like those type of people that are like 10 years in this movie and I don't want to come back, and then they fucking come back. Like they always come back. Why? Because they realize that it's like, oh fuck, like there's nothing else out there. This is the pinnacle of what our work is asking for. And I wouldn't be disappointed with that.
There's nothing wrong with that, bro.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong. And I don't know where they get the idea. Like I don't know where Chris Evans is like, oh man, my character, he's cool, man. But like, I want to go off and do something else. Fucking work at Quiznos or, fucking Chuck E. Cheese or whatever. I want to do something. Bro, calm down, man. Like what else is gonna ask you to do anything?
Yeah.
Like what else? I mean, dude, you did that fucking Peacock movie or the Apple TV show that everyone's just like, bro, that movie sucks. Mm-hmm. Like and then what are people saying? When are you going to come back as Cap? Like I'll pay money to see you as Captain America, but why are you making these fucking college tuition movies? Like, are you going to go back and make Captain America movies? Like, we really want you back. And he's like, I don't know. Like, it's almost like, I don't know, man. It's almost like they're teasing us on purpose. They're trying to be like, look, we know that the Hollywood is in bad positions. I got it. Let's starve them of what they want. And then we'll take it away from them for a couple years, like a drug addict. When you don't give them their thing, and then when they get the cold sweats, dude, and they get the meat sweats, boom! There's a little bit of Chris Evans. Mm-hmm. Whoa, is that a sprinkle of him as an Easter egg in Quantum Mania? I don't know, because Kang was like, I killed the one with the hammer, and everyone was like, haha, Thor, and it's like, no, dude, he's talking about the one that went and traveled through time with a hammer. He's talking about Captain America that he killed. I got some theories, man. My brain's always working. It's a good theory, right?
Yeah, that's a stretch, but yeah.
That's a pretty good stretch.
I'm pretty sure you're talking about Thor, but okay.
But would you really think that Kang, being all smarts, would literally be like, well, you look like this 6'3", 275-pound guy, pure muscles, beard and long hair? Man, I totally mistaken you for that guy, little 5'7" guy with a little crimpy cut. I don't know. Yeah. But Captain America, though, and he did have a hammer, and he did shrink. And he did go into space and time and all that stuff like Ant-Man. That's a cool idea, right?
But but he showed up at the end of Endgame alive. Bro.
Ah, man, fuck, he got me. Well, he could have killed a multiversal version of him, right?
I got you, bro.
You don't think so?
No.
Nah, it's too stretchy. Too stretchy.
That's stretchy.
Too stretchy. Yo, so what do you think, man? Okay, so Stephen King, I don't know if you heard about this. Stephen King came out and was like, yo, The Flash is fantastic. This is what he's like.
He's
What
just
did he say?
added
What
to
the
the.
fuck did
He's
he
just
say?
added to the list of the most obscure people.
Fucking randomest people to say
The
The
most
Flash is awesome.
random people coming out saying this. Listen, I get it. The movie's good.
I think it's a PR move, dude.
But
I think
why?
100% it's a PR move.
Why? If it's good,
Well,
why
I
would
mean-
you? Bro, if it's good, why would you need the PR for it? Like, if it's good,
Because this guy literally held Hawaii up for ransom once.
listen.
And they're like, look, we want people to look
listen,
past that.
Listen, Chris, we've been down this road before. If this movie is good, no one's gonna give a fuck. Yo, we are in the microwave era, bro. People are going to forget. If this movie is good and as good as people are saying that it is, people are gonna go watch it. They're not gonna give a fuck about what the fuck he did before this, bro. No one's gonna care. Are you gonna care? You're gonna see this movie, right?
I'm gonna see it, but I'm not
All
gonna be
right, then.
happy.
I don't.
I'm
Whatever
not gonna
your
be happy though.
whatever your because is after, whether it's because you just think it's gonna be a good movie, or whether you're seeing it for Michael Keaton, or whatever your reason is, you're gonna see this movie, bro. So,
But what do you do? Like, okay, so what about the next guy? What about
Jonathan
the next
Majors.
bad person that does some bad things? Like, what do you do? Do you just be like, everyone else gets canceled on the internet?
That is the
People lose their
hypocrisy.
jobs. People lose their entire livelihoods. They get fired from work for doing stupid shit in real life. And elitist people that are above the $1 million rate wage, they get away with nothing. They don't get penalized. They don't get nothing. Is that then goes into the idea of like this elitist, privileged world where a dude can, like that swimming guy that raped the chick and threw her ass behind a dumpster, and everyone wanted for them to forget about him. And the dad came up and it was a politician, and the entire internet just kept saying like, hey, don't forget this guy. Don't forget this guy. There's a dude that raped a girl, and after he drugged her, he put her behind a dumpster. And I think like after he did something, he tried to, and they busted him right before the alleged situation happened, and he was arrested for it.
I think you're taking liberties with the scale of the severity of what people are doing. I think
he assaulted people. He literally physically assaulted people.
You're talking about fist fighting people as opposed to raping someone and dumping them behind the.
I mean, yes.
You do understand there's a difference there.
There is
right?
a difference. Yes.
So all right,
which
so
is one's an assault case, one's a sexual assault case.
Yeah, hold on one second. Yeah, so as long as we can establish there is a difference there, then you can see where I'm coming from. Like, if he is just getting into fist fights with someone, that can be overlooked.
And kidnap and grooming and having underage people with guns and what
I'm not saying what he's doing is
it a house thing. What did he do where he assaulted people with like, I'll kill your wife, and
okay, so he verbally
he did some shit. He did some shit.
He verbally assaulted someone. He again he may or may not groom someone. I don't even know what he did with he wasn't raping anybody. He wasn't being a pedophile. He wasn't doing any of that thing. Like, I think those would be the cutoffs to where it would be a little too much. Is a little too much.
Yeah.
What he did, I think, and I said it before, I think it's on the cusp of he can defeat this. He can come back from this. If this movie is good, no, I have yet to hear anyone on this show or any show saying I'm not going to see this movie because of what he did in Hawaii. I haven't heard that yet. So apparently it didn't cross a threshold of something that was too bad. So,
yeah, I mean, that's true.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, I mean, because you can't.
And
what cancel
culture do? And cancel, and I said it in the Discord. Cancel culture is bullshit. Part of my language. It's bullshit. You pick and choose who you want to cancel for a maximum sentence of 3 months, and then we forget, and then we just wait for the next person to fucking cancel, and then we cancel them for another 3 months, and then we forget about that shit, and it just continues to go on, and no one sticks to it. No one ever fucking follows through. That goes with people, personalities, celebrities, brands, whatever you want to call it. It's bullshit.
Yeah,
it's bullshit.
I agree. I agree. It's also in the sense of like a game of popularity. You know, it's if your popularity instills into someone else's group or whatnot, or how you stand with people or whatnot, that people take your side no matter what, because they have a thing to win or they have a thing to lose, and yeah, it's a very awkward situation.
It's the times that we live in, bro. It's the reality
It's a
of the
really
times that we
weird
live in.
fucking time we live in. It really is, because it's like we talked about this before, like. But then again, it's really weird because what we get in the sense of what we get in the news is not what people see in actual courtrooms and all that other stuff. There is a ongoing evidential like thing that's going on. There's a lot of investigation that's going on with the Jonathan Majors situation, and it's ongoing. And it's like one of those things where like every other day we hear like, oh shit, like there is evidence stacking, and it doesn't look good. But it's like we have a lot of evidence that is stacked against Ezra Miller. But why is it that DC just stayed quiet, stuck to its guns, and allowed it to happen and just let it kind of flow out and just be like, hey, well, we spent a lot of money on this shit. We're going to release it anyways. We're going to get this guy therapy. And why is it not the same way that they're doing with him, Kevin Spacey?
I think it's, and Kevin Spacey again. There is a threshold.
He did some stuff.
Yeah, don't misconstrue what I'm saying. There is a threshold that you can't cross, and once you cross that, then yeah, there's some ramifications that you probably can't escape from. I don't think again you can put Kevin Spacey and Ezra Miller on the same plateau. That's just my personal view. I think that there is a huge difference between the two. But to answer your question, Chris, I think that the reason why, and this is just right now me thinking about it, the reason why Warner Brothers and DC didn't say anything is because maybe they are on the same level of thinking than I am. He can beat this. He didn't do anything to that magnitude to where it would warrant us canceling this movie or denouncing him. Maybe if the movie tanks, then yeah, he'll be like our kill.
Then it's like, all right, we got that out of the way.
Exactly. Like, all right, fuck this guy. Like,
your
like
value
fuck
has dramatically been dropped.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But I think maybe it's because they think, oh well, he didn't do anything that bad. Yeah. It's nothing that he can't come back from. And I said it on this show weeks ago, and you guys looked at me like I had fucking 10 heads.
No, I mean,
this guy will get another opportunity to work, especially if this movie is as good as everyone is saying it is.
So do you think there's a possibility for like the Jonathan Majors situation?
He hasn't had his day in court yet. We don't know.
Yeah.
He hasn't had his day in court yet. You know, I think if he goes to court and the facts come out, or the facts that are said to, you know, that are made public, and it's said that he's this evil person that everyone is saying that he is, then yeah, he might have to go sit down somewhere.
Okay, that's a really good point that John made. I mean, yeah, like the Jonathan Majors assault charges, Johnny Depp, Amber Heard, like that, the Johnny Depp, Amber Heard thing was settled in court. Like we brought all the evidence to fruition in court. But
I don't think
with the Will Smith situation, like Will Smith literally is in a bad.
But who's saying they're overlooked though?
No, I'm not saying they're overlooked. It's just what I'm saying is like,
no.
So we're talking about
you're using this comment. You're using this comment, and in the comment it's saying that they're being overlooked. I don't think these situations are being overlooked.
Yeah, no. Amber Heard moved to Paris, and she's still getting stalked by people.
She went.
Yeah, she still gets shit on every day.
And that went to trial. Like that went to court. I don't think it's being overlooked.
Yeah, I don't even think we would have understood the severity if it didn't go to court.
Yeah,
I think the public eye wouldn't have even understood how bad it was for Johnny Depp nor Amber Heard's situation in their situation. The problem with it is like Jonathan Majors' situation is barely coming to fruition. And yes, we do understand the most of the severity when it comes to Ezra Miller, but I think the Ezra Miller case kind of correlates a little bit more with Will Smith's situation, where with Ezra Miller, we can physically see him doing his shit wrong because he's done it in the public eye. Will Smith publicly slaps Chris Rock. All this shit boils out. You saw the entire crowd clapping for him, giving him high fives, being like, yeah, you're the badass. And then when the consensus came around, all of those people were like, oh, we condemn that shit. But at the moment, we thought it was cool as fuck or whatever the fuck their minds were. But the idea was, to this day, Will Smith is still dealing with the consequence of him slapping Chris Rock for defending his wife in that situation. Right?
I don't think so. He just came out with a movie. Listen, I don't think anybody was gonna give a fuck about that movie anyway. The thing of it is I don't put too much onus, or I don't put too much on the Will Smith slap like everybody else does. I don't think that it was something that happened. I don't think it deserves to be mentioned in this conversation personally. Because there were no charges brought up. There was nothing that happened from that. What? He went on stage and he slapped fucking Chris Rock. It was some wild shit. Don't get me wrong, that was some wild shit, but does that belong in this conversation though?
It correlates with the idea of how your perception in society is and what you feel people should be canceled or not canceled in. It doesn't matter if it went to court or not in that situation. We physically saw it happen. So we can judge that based on what we saw.
Okay, but everything else that we've been mentioning has been going to court and trial and things of that nature. He went on stage and slapped somebody.
Yeah.
Like that was it.
But we don't need the court to tell us he's guilty of doing it or not.
I guess where I'm coming from is the severity of these situations. I guess there's no, you guys are making this white and black, right? The Johns in the comments, the you talking to me, you guys are making this very white and black. Yeah. I'm talking from there's various shades of gray here that you guys are overlooking.
No, I'm taking into perspective.
There are various shades of gray here that, again, I don't put the Will slap in this conversation.
Okay. I understand that. I understand it. It's one of those things. It's like
not a white and black conversation.
Yeah, we don't understand the severity of it in the sense of a lawful situation, because it's not something that has to be brought in front of like a delegation or something like that. So like we don't get to see like what type of consequence comes from it, because there's no like statute of limitation of consequence. Yeah. With the other people, we get to see actual consequence because it deals with like court of law, jury, the judge, how it gets filed, where it gets put. The Jonathan Majors situation is, I mean, since it's still ongoing and it's still kind of up in the air, it's hard to say the severity of it because it's very, very quiet. Like everything's under key, but you could see where I think today they were mentioning that. Well, I mean, not today, because this deals with the writers of Quantumania, right? It was like a writer of Secret Wars or someone that got cut today. And that's not anything. Yeah, that's not anything to do with Jonathan Majors. I was thinking about that for some reason. Because in one of the articles, it had Jonathan Majors' face on it. I don't even know why. But the PR team and all that stuff, we saw them all leave Jonathan Majors' side a bit ago. Like a month ago or 2 months ago, where everybody just kind of like quit on him and kind of left him on his own fruition or whatever. That's what happens. Yeah, man, they need to cut distance just to them to save faces or whatnot in case it gets dirty. That was what happened to that dude from Rick and Morty. Remember? Everybody fucking cut ties with him real quick, kind of distanced themselves real fast. And that kind of went under the radar that the guy was okay and kind of clean cut or whatever. But Ezra Miller, like all of those things are kind of like spoiled kids shit. Like, it's like you said, like he can come back from it. He's just got to not act like a piece of shit anymore. Where like with the Jonathan Majors, is like if he actually did something that's him physically hurting someone in a really bad way or whatnot, or like the Amber Heard Johnny Depp situation where it was all brought to fruition, all this stuff, cut finger, fucking punched and all this other stuff, like a bunch of assault, bunch of abuse. But where do you see it going from here with this, man? Because like when I see it, you bring Tom Cruise and Tom Cruise is like, fuck yeah, that was a great movie. Yeah, that's the dude that jumped on the couch on Oprah. You bring in, Stephen King. Stephen King's like, hey man, I don't like superhero movies and I never have, and I've always talked shit about them, but this movie, listen, this movie.
My issue is this. Over the course of my entire life, actors and celebrities have been in and out of trouble. True. Robert Downey Jr. has not had the cleanest of pasts.
Yeah.
He got another shot. He got multiple shots.
Yeah.
There are a lot of people that have had multiple shots, that have had multiple redemption stories. Why is it now in today's society that it's so left field for us to do that again? Like,
I think it's because of the fact that news reaches everybody a lot faster and easier with like the 1 minute aspect of news and interruptions and stuff from
but
like TikTok and Instagram and stuff. We just get it faster.
Media, I guess, regardless on how fast we get the news, it's still the news. Like, this isn't we even today can watch someone that's done something way worse than Jonathan Majors, and not to minimize what Jonathan Majors is being accused of or what Ezra Miller is being accused of, but even today we can watch a celebrity that is known to be, a bad person, and they are getting star roles.
Yeah. They're still being worked with.
I'm trying to understand what's the difference here. I don't, and it's weird. Again, it's a lot of grace. I don't want to justify what they're being accused of, but to condemn them if they haven't crossed that threshold that I was talking about.
Well, it's the concept of how society's kind of changed a lot in the last several years, where a lot of people look at people as guilty over innocent before guilty. A lot of the time we're supposed to look at someone when they're arrested and be like, hey, benefit of the doubt. Maybe, they did something in the heat of passion and they have a reason. Let them get to court. Let them settle it through the judge. Let them settle it in a court of law with the 12 other people that are going to watch them and judge them from them. You know what I mean? Like, but the idea is we look at people and we're supposed to say innocent before guilty. And I think nowadays it's just the world is such a dark place that a lot of people look at everybody else and they're just like, I knew it. I knew he was like that. There was something about him. Yep, I knew it. Yep, and we condemn people before we give them the opportunity to explain their situation.
Yeah. I'm all over the place. Yeah, I'm all over the place, dude. Like, it's just case by case basis.
Yeah, because it doesn't just relate, like in these type of conversations, like they don't just relate in the aspect of the person just being in Hollywood. It's not them just being a celebrity. It's you have to take into consideration everything else about them, everything about their lifestyles and all this stuff that we get no interaction with at all, because these people are like, hey, you know what? Like, I do not put my life in social media. I guarantee Jonathan Majors is never online. Never online. No TikTok, no fucking Facebook, none of that. On a personal note, he's not on that shit at all. So when a picture pops up or a video pops up or a text message of him putting up something pops up, it's not him. It's not him at all. Like, he's so disconnected from that world that it almost, most of it probably doesn't even make sense to him, which is what you see a lot about actors and stuff like that dealing with social media.
I think if Jonathan Majors, if this comes out that this was a one-off, I think that's where I'm coming from. Like, if this is a one-off, he got into a physical altercation. If he got into a physical altercation with his spouse or his mate or his better half or whatever you want to call her, I don't think that is justification to be condemned. I've been through that. Everybody that I know has been through some type of altercation that God knows what happened and who's telling the truth and whatever the situation may be. I don't think that condemns him to whatever, ramifications may be coming his way or what he's already dealing with. When it comes to Ezra Miller, whatever they are dealing with, if he gets some help, then, he could still have a career after this. He shouldn't be they shouldn't be condemned because of this span of their life. I don't think that's fair.
No, of course not. I think it's really crazy because, like, I think even in the aspect of us watching these people's lives unfold for us for entertainment, I think deep down inside, we all kind of cater to the idea of them having a Cinderella story where they all have a comeback story. We watched Conor McGregor come from nothing, become the champion, then fall. Same thing with Mike Tyson. We saw him come from nothing, become the champion, then fall. And then that redeeming quality of them coming back and beating the odds and petting pigeons or whatever.
Mike Tyson was a perfect fucking example, dude.
Mm-hmm.
Perfect fucking example.
Yeah.
If it comes out that Jonathan Majors is the sex deviant that is just physically abusing women left and right, then
it makes sense. Yeah.
Then that's crossing that threshold I'm talking about. Now that's a different conversation.
Yeah.
If it comes out that, Ezra Miller has been grooming multiple kids to do some wild shit, then okay, that's crossing the threshold. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't think they've crossed, in my eyes, this is my personal opinion, I don't think they've crossed that line yet. To where
I don't think it's that severity.
Condemn them.
Yeah, I don't think it's that severity. And even with that, like we said, like Mike Tyson's life, like I look at him and I think he's a beautiful human being now. Like everything that man does, I appreciate him as a human being. Him able to open up and talk to people, and even though like talk about his scars, his daughter's death, not really get into detail about what his past life was like, but tell people like, hey, you know what? Like that was a really dark time in my life, and I learned to.
Mike Tyson was not a nice person.
No, dude, he never was.
He was not a nice person. He was an awful. He was an awful person.
Yeah,
and he'll tell you, he was an awful person. It's like even to this day, him talking about who he was, it makes him cringe. Yeah. Like about the person he was. Yep. I don't put Jonathan Majors on that.
And I don't put him in that factor. I don't put even Ezra Miller in that fucking realm.
You know what I'm saying? And people deserve a redemption story. They deserve a way to make it back from having. We're human beings. Damn it! Like we deserve that grace. Now it's in the media. It's new. It's fresh. So of course we got to talk about it and say, oh, we'll wave our fingers at people and shit like that. But like. I'm looking down the road. I'm looking further down the road than that. Like, I don't know. Again,
it's like I tell people, I never topic. I never look at people like I want them to fail. But I do think it's great, and I do think it's a better quality when people have accountability for their actions.
Yeah.
If these people were to come out and say, you know what, we know we fucked up, and we're sorry, and we're going to be better, that would make the world just a way better place. And I think just in society itself, we've lacked this factor of people not taking accountability for themselves. And that's just truly what it is.
Like over here on the East Coast, we know about Mike Tyson. Like, I don't know how far his reach got, over in Texas, but it's like everywhere, man. Mike Tyson, what he used to do is he used to wait outside of a grocery store and wait for elderly women offer to walk them home with their groceries, knock them out, and he would knock them out cold, rob them of their money and their groceries, and leave. That's Mike Tyson.
Yeah. No, yeah. That's only one part of his story, dude.
Yeah, no, that's what I'm saying. Like that's the type of person that was able to bounce back.
Yeah. Yeah, he was a pretty bad kid back in the day, man. But Cus D'Amato helped him out a lot, though, man. Cus D'Amato got him to fall in love with boxing, got him off the streets a little bit, kind of brought him into his household, gave him somewhere to go. He always talks about how his mother was like a deviant, his father was a piece of shit, and he didn't have a good household, but Cus really helped him out, and that's when he kind of changed. But they couldn't get that violent nature out of him when he became a teenager and adult, when he started seeing the money. And when the money came, it made it even worse because it gave him more power mentally that he could get away with a lot of stuff. And that's when you had that, like the golden age of Mike Tyson, where he was like a great boxer, but like a really crappy human being. And people just couldn't stop him. They were like, well, he makes us millions. Why? Well, we're going to let him talk and, call out reporters and fucking say he wants to bang chicks in front of their faces and like all this other stuff. And they would just let him get away with random shit, dude. That was the wildest shit watching him back in the day, man. But that's why I say, like, it's crazy because I've always talked to myself and be like, what would I say to Mike Tyson if I had the opportunity to at least like interview him, if not for just a couple seconds to a minute or whatnot? I think the first thing I would tell him is like, you know what? I don't know if anybody ever tells you this, but I'm really proud of you on how you've changed and became a better human being and how you were able to rise from that fire, because I know how hard it is to be.
Do you watch his podcast?
Sometimes I don't really care for like the other stuff that people get him to do just for like shits and giggles.
No, his podcast.
Yeah, that's the on the fire seat or what's something like that.
Hot boxing.
Hot boxing, right? Yeah, I've seen a couple of them, but I'm not really. There's a part of me that doesn't like the fact that he kind of like still avidly uses things to kind of help. I guess he says help because he believes in the whole like that you still don't. I don't know. They're just gateways. If you can get away from all that stuff and just purify yourself and just be like straight hard work and be dedicated, it helps you laser focus a little bit better. I'm a straight edge guy. I know that a lot of people don't probably think that way either. Some people like to drink. Some people like to smoke. Some people like to fucking, I don't know, suck fart out of people's asses. I don't know.
I don't think it's a gateway. I think Mike Tyson is chemically unbalanced. And I think those are the things that help him.
That kind of help him out. Yeah, that's like
It's
like
not like he's
how people
taking
use
it-
like mushrooms nowadays and stuff.
Yeah, I don't think he's taking it to escape anything. I think he's taking that to balance him out. I think he's chemically unbalanced.
I don't know. I don't know what kind of stuff that he's taking to help him with that balancing out. You know what I mean? I'm not a doctor for it.
He takes shrooms. He smokes weed. He's an avid cannabis.
And he also has his own products, man.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
like,
we were in Corpus Christi at this like a indoor market, and they had the little ears that he sells, the ones that are like supposed to be of Evander Holyfield's, like take a bite out of his ear kind of shit. I thought it was super funny. I still think it's a fucking great gag though. What a callback, making a negative into a positive. But yeah, that's about it. Real quick, Fast X. Brian, what do you think about the Fast X reviews? I heard Rotten Tomato. What'd you hear about Fast X? Are you excited, or are you gonna go check it out, or what?
I could care less about that movie. I know what I did hear though. I heard it sucks. But I did hear that Jason Momoa
did a fantastic job.
That's what I did.
Yeah,
hear.
I heard
the movie's ass. I heard the movie was trash.
Rotten Tomato has it at a 54%.
Yeah, I heard it was ass.
Audience score above 1,000 verified ratings has it at an 86%.
That's still trash.
Like
for the audience, you need that like a 90 for it to be like.
That's 4 points away from that on its second opening day.
No.
Hey, well, Robert says it's ridiculously crazy. I loved it. Get your ass to go see it now. Damn, that's a review on its own. That should have been on Rotten Tomatoes, man.
I'm good.
I am.
I got dragged out to see the last one, and once they reached space, dude, I was like, you know what? I'm done. I'm good here.
So you saw
I saw the last one.
You saw the 9, and was it good?
Whatever
or?
it was.
I don't know what number it is. It's just I know X.
It's just
10,
not. It's not. It's honestly, I get it. Listen, I realized that if you are a fan of the Fast series, you're gonna. It doesn't matter what you're gonna go and see it and love it and whatever. I'm just. It's not.
Let me explain to you.
I saw fucking Ludacris in fucking space last movie, bro.
Let me explain to you how this was told to me yesterday, and then how my brain produced it like as an image in my head. I was talking to a friend of mine on the phone yesterday, and he goes, yo, so I went to see the movie. It was fucking ridiculous. There was just shit all over the screen. I didn't know what was going on. People were dying. Dead people were coming back to life. I don't know what the fuck was going on. And he goes, and they're going to make this into like a trilogy series.
This is going to be like the Goodbye trilogy.
And for some reason, when he said trilogy, my brain registered like the 10 movies right now that we have were the first part of the trilogy, and there were 20 more films coming. That there was 20 more Fast and the Furious movies to equal a trilogy set. Why did I think that there was going to be 30 fucking Fast and the Furious movies?
Because people
would watch it. They would still keep this going.
No, you motherfuckers are gonna keep dumping money into this shit. Because you motherfuckers are gonna keep dumping money into this shit, and they're gonna keep milking you and get more and more ridiculous.
And then Robert comes out with this stuff where he says it's Triple X, bro. And I'm like, wait a minute, that was a Vin Diesel movie where he was doing the same shit on a dirt bike, except. And now you're telling me that they're gonna bring in Triple X to the Fast and the Furious franchise. And in the last movie, you're going to have Vin Diesel show up as his character from Triple X, saving his character from the Fast and the Furious movies? Or are they the same guy? Or is it just going to be Ice Cube? because Ice Cube was the last Triple X.
You're over here worried about Mike Tyson taking shrooms, and yet you're not worried about the motherfuckers that are writing this shit taking shrooms. Like,
Dude, this is what happens when you need. This is when you need a writer's block. The writer's block is to stop this insanity. That's what this stops the insanity. I don't know. But yeah, if you guys go out and check it out, let us know what you guys think of Fast.
Wait! You asked me if I'm going to see this movie. Are you going to see this movie?
I already seen it. I've seen this any time that I've ever played
Grand Theft Auto.
I've already played this movie out of my head a million times when I'm just in an open server. Like, I'll grab a jet, I'll fly it into the sky, slam it into a building, fucking have it to where like cars fly off of the building. And yeah, we've already done all this shit in Grand Theft Auto fucking 5 or 6 or whatever. So I don't need to watch these movies. There's a part. Yeah, Robert actually called me last night to tell me a large amount of this movie, that it all consists of them being on a dam, and they pretty much rape every panel in the dam just to drive on every aspect. It was like a skater. You know what it reminds me of? It reminds me of like that one dude in 6th grade that was like, yo, let's go like skateboard and tear up the local junior high so we can skate all the ramps and rails and all this shit.
Yeah.
That's what Fast and the Furious reminds me of, with people with stupid cars though. Like, that's exactly what moves you. It just reminds me of that shit. It's just so fucking wild, man.
I'm gonna pass. Or at least I'll fire stick it at some point. Maybe. I don't know.
If I go watch this film, I'm probably gonna fire stick it, if anything, dude. Like, I'll just fire stick it because I'm not gonna waste my money on this. Definitely not gonna waste. I would have wasted my money on the popcorn thing, but not on this. Most definitely.
Listen, they can keep their shitty movie. They can keep their shitty car holder, popcorn holder.
Keep it all, man. Stay away from my theaters, man.
Good. Stop making those goddamn movies, bro. Stop making them,
yo. Straight. Look, Michael Betancourt's in the same boat I am. That's why me and you are gonna go watch X, Mike, without having to do anything after.
No, dude, that's how I was before the last. Like, I wasn't even gonna see the last one, but I went on a date. I think I told you guys. I went on a date, and she wanted to go see the last Fast and Furious. She thought that would be a great date movie. And
she was totally mistaken.
I sat there, and literally she was mad at me by the end of the date because all I did during the whole movie was like
laugh at it all.
Yo, what the fuck am I watching?
Did she like it?
I don't think I think she hated it because I was just being so annoying.
I would have red flagged her, dude, the moment she even fucking asked me to watch 9, dude.
Like, I was sitting there and I was cool. But then there was just some
she did
parts,
it like it's a guy movie.
There were just some parts that I was like, this is ridiculous. But then when I saw the fucking Ludacris and fucking Tyrese hit the fucking atmosphere, bro, I was like, get the
for some reason, dude, this needs to be like an SNL skit, dude. Like, just like chick goes out on a date with a guy to a movie, takes him to see a Fast and Furious movie, and he's like not interested in the beginning of that shit. Like, she's just like, dude, it's a guy movie. He's gonna totally love this. Like, her explaining it to her girlfriends or whatever, like how it went, and then this guy just being like, what nonsense am I watching, dude?
Yo, that's how I was the entire movie. And it got to the point where I physically saw on her that she was disturbed by the fact that I just had so much to say.
I can imagine you guys walking out of the theater, kind of having that last moment. And she's like, so what's up? And you're like, nothing, man. This is it. I'm not going to, there's no part 2 to this date. We're not going to do this franchise. No way. There's not going to be a 10X on us dating each other. That's wild, dude.
Yeah, no. Yeah,
that's so funny. I would love to see a skit dedicated to that. I would fucking laugh my ass off.
Mike, I heard Indiana Jones is.
It's getting. I heard it's getting diced up too, man.
It's not it, dude.
I mean, and that's because we saw the trailer, and there was no way we were about that life either, man. There was no way I was gonna be about that life.
It's not.
It's getting my money. I don't know, man. Jeez, I would say the Transformers movie, maybe.
I am definitely seeing
Yeah, it looks good. The Transformers movie, I'm a little bit more excited for. Indiana Jones.
I will see that.
I don't know, man. Yo, I was telling my brother actually that I want I'm so thrilled, dude. If they can somehow get the Fast and the Furious franchise to tie up to the Chronicles of Riddick movies, bro, I'm about that shit, dude.
Why don't they go back to it being about fucking cars?
But fucking regular street racing. Why do they need to go to space?
Street racers, yeah. Why not that?
I think it's so funny. Like in the trailer, they show that scene where it's like Jason Momoa's character shows up and they're like at a little like a street meet or some shit. And they're all like, Jason Momoa's like, oh, it's what's up, bro, or whatever to Vin Diesel, and their cars are around. And in my mind, I'm like, bro, aren't you wanted by like the government and the CIA? Like, what are you doing out at Walmart parking lot just hanging out, bro? Like,
it's crazy, bro.
It's fucking nuts, dude. Like, what are y'all doing outside in the streets just hanging? It doesn't work that way anymore, dude. Like, this doesn't make any sense. You just did a fucking CIA run in Portugal with The Rock and Jason Momoa and Jason Statham, and the next day you're in a cruise night at Wendy's, driving to Walmart with your friends, like all with your cars on. It doesn't work that way, Toretto or whatever your name is.
I heard someone said that because Michael brings up Jason Momoa. I heard like this is Jason Momoa's like
greatest.
It's like his
greatest performance.
It's like his Deadpool. It like this is made for him, and like this could get him the Lobo.
I was gonna say, if you say the Academy Award, I'm fucking done with this movie's franchise, dude. Can you imagine if he's like up for an Oscar with this performance?
I think if anyone ever got any award for anything they've ever done in a Fast and Furious movie, I would just lose all hope in
dude, that's it. You're just like, that's it. I'm done with the film. I'm done with film. Can you imagine one day if Vin Diesel gets like the Lifetime Achievement Award for the Fast and Furious franchise?
Dude, do you know he gets a residual of each movie?
Yeah, he has to. He's like,
there's a reason why
the production company, no?
Yeah,
or he owns a studio or something like that.
You will never see Vin Diesel do another movie other than the Fast and Furious movie because he doesn't need to. He gets so much money from the Fast and Furious movies in the franchise. It's ridiculous.
You know what? I have a lot of respect for Vin Diesel. The dude's a hustler, bro. Like, he is a real hustler when it comes to like shit. Do you remember that back in the day they used that? Okay, you remember Chronicles of Riddick, right?
Yeah, it fucking tanked.
Did you remember that they used to have a video game? That there was a video? Well, dude, Vin Diesel bought the rights for the Chronicles of Riddick and Pitch Black story, and then bought the gaming franchise that created the video game. And we played the video game, and those fucking video games were for a first person shooter, it's pretty solid.
It's great. So he made $10 from all 10 copies he sold. But what I'm saying is, from the Fast and Furious shit, bro, like he is making there's a reason why you haven't seen him in any other movie besides that. That's not normal Hollywood behavior.
True that.
He's not think about it. When was the last movie you seen him in besides a Fast and Furious movie?
Well, Guardians is Groot, but that's a visual. That's not visual. That's audio, right?
Yeah, that's nothing.
Film wise, I don't know. I haven't really seen him in anything. Some Tooth Fairy movie or some fucking weird Disney movie.
How long ago?
Yeah, that was like years ago. That was like when The Rock was doing those movies.
That's because he's getting the back end. He doesn't get the front end money from the Fast and Furious. He makes all his money in the back end, dude. Like I was doing research because I knew we were going to talk about it today a little bit or whatever, and I just found out that he makes all his money on the back end, and he owns a part of the Fast and Furious franchise, which is fucking genius. So hats off to him.
Yeah, he's always going to get residuals and fucking royalties off of that, no matter how long it goes. It's a smart move, man. I'm telling you, he's a hustler, man. Brian, what do you got planned for the weekend?
Shit, I'm gonna go out tomorrow night, hang out with some friends.
Good stuff.
That's about it.
We'll be out in the Harlingen area, if I'm not mistaken. We are doing this event called WrestleFest. Christella will be out there doing her cool shit. I'll be out there taking pictures, man. Doing some pictures for Christella, being the roadie, being the person that just helps with the store. I kind of just help her with her things. That's it, man. I said I don't really have much. I got some logos and some graphics design work that I got to do. Maybe some video jobs that I got coming up. So really excited about some stuff. Kind of seeing I can make a little bit of extra cheddar so I can pay some bills and do some stuff, and buy some costumes or do some costumes. You know what, I noticed that my hair is getting to like that level, man. You know what I think? I could probably do that Doctor Strange costume, man. The guy from the first from Multiverse of Madness, the first one, the one that turns into the zombie. Like, he's got his hair, dude. I got the cool hair with the white streaks and all that shit. Yeah, and I don't got to dye shit, man.
I can see it, yo.
Yeah, I ain't got to dye shit. That's pretty good. That's not too bad.
You need the mustache.
I'll just be the well-fed Doctor Strange, man.
Do you grow your beard or mustache, or that's all you got?
I get the under part, the mustache, and the little goatee part. Nothing real. Okay. I wasn't one of those, like, I didn't try shaving in 6th grade. I just kind of like let it grow out on its own.
Okay.
Not really a maintainer and shit like that. So I just let it come out. I just shave it every time I do like a different costume or whatever. So,
Okay.
but that's about it, man. Yeah. Maybe I'll get some, maybe I'll grow a little bit. Maybe I'll hit my next growth spurt in 42 or whatever.
Next growth spurt.
At 42, man, I'll hit my second, what's it called? Maturity, the age or whatever. But yeah. All right. Well, looks like we're about done. If there's anybody else that wants to kind of add something in the comment section, by all means, hit it up. Guys, don't forget, during the week, hit us up during the week. We got our Discord going on, the Average Boys Podcast, Average Boys with a Z. If you guys want to hit us up during the week, let us know. Anything you want us to cover, we're always up in the air about that. And we're always listening for you guys to make a comment about what you guys want us to cover. Other than that, I really appreciate every one of you. To all our extraordinary listeners, we appreciate every one of you for tuning in with us every Friday here on the Average Boys Podcast. We stream live to Facebook, Twitch, and YouTube. Right? It's Twitch. Am I getting this time? What's up, Mayors, man? I hope you're doing good, man. Guys, don't forget, like I said, hit us up on our Facebook. Don't forget to like us on Spotify, iTunes, Google Podcasts, all the good places where you get your podcast information and videos from. Don't forget to like, share, tell people about us, get us out there. We appreciate every one of you, and thank you guys for tuning in. We'll see you guys again here next Friday here on the Average Boys Podcast. Peace.
Peace.